out last week, and it was quite concerning. Look at the mention today on Health Check, brought to you by Lufat tablet and suspension. What else do we have?
We still have a discussion. You know, there's a petition to remove the EC balls and two others. So we're going to have that discussion. We're going to discuss definitely the Black Stars way forward. I know this morning we have over 3 million coaches in Ghana and yesterday. So we are going to be discussing the Black Stars and post-match, everything Black Stars and moving forward. And then also, we're going to be keeping an eye from parts of the capital.
Indeed.
We'll be looking at things that affect the ordinary Ghanaian. And here at GBC TV Breakfast Show, the authorities and the powers that be, they listen. And we usually get results, so we're going to be looking at that. We'll also be looking at what traffic looks like. And this morning at 5:30, traffic was really like around the Tetekoshi area. And so, yeah, that's what to look forward to from our show. Remember, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. If you look for the hashtag GTV Breakfast, you find us everywhere on social media. Mind you, too, all our accounts are verified, and so if you share, like our staff, our pages, you share authentic content from GBC.
Okay, now I'm going to give a pass to T. You know, yesterday she gave us some catcher yesterday.
I tell you, they get for the black piece inside. I'm wearing my heels.
So wait for the pass. Get the pass. Small pass.
Okie dokes. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast on GTV. Thank you for joining us. It's on an all-black morning, so I'm your spot of color this morning to put some color into your morning, and we hope that the blues from yesterday will be done down. Perhaps you wake up to a refreshing day. Thank God for another day. It's Tuesday. It's time to go to work, so let's put yesterday behind us and let's get cracking. Let's make Ghana proud. Let's work towards Friday, and we'll have some guests in the studio to talk about what may have gone wrong because it was not the results that we expected. Performances not as they should be, much statistics to favor the Moroccan side other than the Ghana side. 38% as against about 60+% for the Morocco side. 12 shots on target for Morocco, 5 on target for the Black Stars. So Valerie just says sports analyst. You should really check out GTV Sports Plus. Follow them on Twitter at MyGTV Sports Plus. It's the mother channel for all the AFCON matches, and it shows on GBC's channels across the country, plus 18 regional FM stations. You are getting commentary in local languages, so languages that are dear to your heart. If you are watching on TV, you could probably get Tree commentary on Garden City TV and commentary on Obonu TV. Of course, English commentary on GTV Sports Plus and on GTV. All the other channels at your disposal for the AFCON 2021 happening live in Cameroon. Not a good start for the Black Stars. So the Lions on the Moroccan side taking full 3 points on the afternoon on the 9th, but another opportunity for the Black Stars on Friday in the next game. Mind you, Comoros and Gabon have also faced off, so that second game also well in the bag. What are the prospects for the Black Stars? What changes would you like to see on the team? Milo definitely has his work cut out for him. Did you see him in the Gabon, in the stands when Gabon was playing Comoros? Because he must be taking some notes.
Of course.
30.8 million Ghanaians, including my little goddaughter who is 3, has an opinion about how the Black Stars played. So Melo definitely has.
When the goal went inside, what did she say?
When the goal went inside, she said, "Go!" Everybody was sitting up quiet. They said, "Oh, but it's goal.
It's goal. It's goal. It's goal. Just in the wrong net.
It's goal. It's goal. So don't worry, the ball went into the wrong net. Let's place it in the right net next time. Pate and the team, we are proud. We are still proud of you, Team Ghana. Keep your head up, and then let's bring it home, okay? So confidence day. So let's bring it all home. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. We hope that you have a fantastic morning. Of course, conversations on dementia. We'll talk about the Black Stars as promised. And we'll also talk about why the EC boss is being pressured to step down and the pressure to remove her and her 2 deputies. So we'll get into those conversations later. Remember to follow our social media handles and share our content. Our WhatsApp number 05555610034. Send your comments and suggestions across, and then we will read some of them out loud. So thank you for joining us. I'll hand it over back to you guys to set us up for the Wisdom Nugget.
With a pass. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll stay away from it.
All right, so we've got Wisdom Nugget coming up. And don't forget, on The Well with Valerie, there's a chat with music producer Zodiac. You don't want to miss that. So for now, we're not abandoning you without giving you the wisdom nugget. It's from Dr. Kusi, and it's on abandoned mindset. Don't abandon the Black Stars now. This is the time we have to support them with more vim. All right? Let's wave that flag for me. Wave that flag for me.
Black Stars all the way.
All right? Wisdom nugget. Let's go.
It's a good morning to you. Very exciting, very humbling for me to serve you the wisdom nugget for the day. And nugget of the day will keep a lot of your problems away. And you know what? Today I want to ask you a big question. Big question. Do you have an abundant mindset or do you have a scarcity mindset? Abundant mindset versus scarcity mindset. An abundant mindset is a mindset, or let me first talk about a scarcity mindset. It's a perception that life is like a big pie. And when somebody takes some of the pie, there's only a little left for everyone to share. So people with a scarcity mindset, they feel that there is very little of everything around them, little of money, little of resources, little of jobs, little of promotion around. And so when somebody gets something, it means that what is left is very small. People with a scarcity mindset will always fight over everything because they feel like if somebody gets that opportunity, what is left is gone, or there's very little left. But there are also people with an abundant mindset. People with an abundant mindset, they feel like life is not like a big pie that when somebody takes some, it's only left with little. They feel like there is more of everything. There is more of promotion. There is more of resources. There are a lot of jobs, a lot of promotions. And so you see, for someone with an abundant mindset, if another person gets promoted, they don't think that, oh, that person has taken my position. They know that another opportunity is going to open for them. Now, it's all about mentality and it's all about mindset. How do you see life? I was blown away years ago. I was traveling. I was at the airport, and then we all got to the boarding gate, just the last point when you descend the old airport at Kotoka to board the flight. And by the time you get to the boarding gate, as you well know, everybody at that point has their boarding pass. And so everybody has a seat number where they're going to sit. But guess what? When they announced that we are about to board the flight, everybody was rushing into the aircraft as if the plane was going to leave some people behind. But once you had a boarding gate, there is no way the plane is going to leave you behind. What does that tell you? It tells you that most of the people there had a scarcity mindset. To them, even though they have a boarding pass, as soon as somebody enters the aircraft, their seat is gone. There is no way your seat is going to go. So is life. Of course, there are times where you have to realize that everything isn't so, infinite, and we need to manage things well. But as far as perceiving life in general is concerned, I think the most successful people, the happiest of people, and the most content of people are people with an abundant mindset. As you go through the day, think about how you think. Monitor your thoughts and ask yourself, do you have a scarcity mindset or do you have an abundant mindset? No one can steal your opportunities away from you. No one can stop you from advancing. If somebody gets an opportunity, gets an open door or gets a promotion, it doesn't mean yours is not going to come. There are many opportunities out there in the world. Someone said the sky is so wide that two planes or even two birds don't crash. Have an abundant mindset. See that there are many opportunities for you because how you think is what is going to happen to you. Enjoy your day, and I look forward to seeing you face to face and seeing many abundant opportunities coming to you just because of the way you think. Have a fabulous day. See you again on the Wisdom Nugget for your day.
available by Awake Purified Mineral Water, Adonko Next Level Energy Drink, and thanks to Lufat, we'll be having a conversation on dementia, which we are being told gets more serious with age. So if you want to have an idea of the early signs and the stages of that disease, that condition, stay with us. Lufat Anti-Malarial will bring us that conversation on dementia. Right now, we're looking at social media trends, and of course, everything about the Black Stars loss to Morocco yesterday is trending on Twitter. The players are trending, the tournament itself is trending, and the coach is not having a good night, I would bet, because it was his first loss in the opening game for the Black Stars. 1-0 it went, a goal coming in the last 10 or so minutes of the game, and we'll see some highlights pretty shortly, and that is what you're seeing on your screen now. Ghana's opening game against Morocco.
Our goalkeeper did a lot to keep up the score.
The goalkeeper was my man of the match.
Yeah, he did well.
Olakot was in sensational form, and he had another save around the 85th minute, which could easily have been a second goal for Morocco.
I think we take a lot of touches as Black Stars. You know, we don't really pass quickly.
Okay, so...
But I'm not a coach, so...
Yeah, I'm not a coach, but let me just ask. I saw that, you know, when they all rushed towards the Moroccan side, and then you can just have one person running towards... I mean, they were and then there's nobody there. Why?
Counter attack.
This was another good move and a good save.
That's a good save. That's a good save.
That was going in, though.
It was.
Yeah. If he had dared push it out, they would have just had a tap in.
Then he got hurt and he had to have his head wrapped.
Yeah.
He's my man of the match. I mean, he was my man of the match yesterday.
That's where he had the head issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Dean and Painter were 8 for me. That's the goal.
This was the goal.
Partey lost it for just a split second, and that cost us dearly. You can see the frustration on Walcott's face.
The assist was on Partey or what?
Yeah.
No, the assist was not for Partey. So if you are trolling us now, you are just mean people.
Because it was an unintended assist.
It was unintended. And just the frustration, because they had held on so strong for so long.
Yeah.
And the statistics really do not, in my opinion, and I'm not an expert in any manner of form, just, you know, a general football lover like some of you maybe. I think the statistics really did not portray the best that the Black Stars offered on the day. So you see the 30s and the 60s, and you think that they did barely in terms of possession. But I think they played extremely well. Our defense held. Our goalkeeper was really good. I think we need to work on the wings a bit more. So that was Dede's injury. He had to have his head wrapped. So he went into the air to fight for some ball.
Yeah.
And the guy's head was hard.
Yeah.
So he had consequences.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I think the defense was good, goalkeeping was good as well. We just need to work on getting the balls in the net. The forward needs to be a bit more forceful, in my opinion.
So that's our
wings. Table, Ghana at the bottom with Comoros. So 0-0 for both of us. 3 points apiece for Gabon and Morocco. Gabon also won their game against Comoros 1-0. Remember, Comoros are their debutants to the tournament, first time playing the AFCON. So they are also seeking to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
Top favorites in the group to qualify, of course, Ghana and Morocco. Ghana has not been up to a great start. So let's see how the Black Stars perform against the other teams remaining. Gabon and
But it's our normal start. We normally don't start well. We normally do not start well.
We want more goals, especially in the opponent's net. So more goals in the opponent's net is what we want. A full analysis of the game and other games that have been played on GTV Sport Plus. Your reactions to the loss. Ghanaians on Twitter. So everybody's talking about performances of individual players and praise and critique going for everywhere.
Flying everywhere. Everybody, people catching stray bullets.
They threw jabs. They threw one at Samoa Jan.
He's trending anyway.
So South Africa is jubilating Ghana's loss for a team that is not in the AFCON. So I've read streams of
we are inside and outside.
They are supporting any team.
We support any team that plays against Ghana. No problem. At least we are there.
That's Baby Jan looking great.
So Asamoah was on Super Sports yesterday. Look at his shirt.
I love the shirt.
Hi.
It's on point.
everything. That's
Who
else has missed the baby jet?
Yeah.
I saw him yesterday running commentary for commentary.
Doing
So analysis for
Analysis.
Super Sport, and I'm like,
Yeah.
number 3, go for your jersey. And it's a reaction that some Ghanaians have also given, calling on Asamoah to grab a jersey and join the team. So,
talking about the Black Stars and Ghanaians calling yesterday, so after the game, and then Kelvin Prince Boateng tweeted and said that, oh, Ghana with the Black Stars, you should have called me, hashtag you should have called me. And that also created, that also created
it's amazing how people claim they do
currently.
The Black Stars League baby jet currently, he's just having a good
So you see your life.
You see your I think that's you see your life thing. On the panel, he was really hopeful. He sounded really happy that the Stars would do it. So it's on days like this that I miss Asamoah Gyan. Football, dear guy, I know you're legend and Kasa Jan. Jiwu 2, why you Players who successfully scored in 6 AFCON editions.
Wow.
Kalusha, Eto, Jan. 3.
Nice.
Wow.
6
3.
AFCONs.
6. Back to back.
Legends, man.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Back to back.
Nice.
Back to back.
When will Ghana get a striker like this again? Ghana miss you, Asamoah Gyan, says Team Melody. Yo.
Who else has noticed how, so more stuff coming, start apologizing if you ever insulted this legend. Asamoah Gyan is the best player ever to play for Ghana.
Really?
We're always assured of our goals. Baby. The goats, according to this street. So Asamoah Gyan fans having a field day because of our goalless response to Morocco's 1 goal against the Black Stars yesterday. Next game for the Black Stars is on Friday. Of course, you can catch all the analysis on GTV Sports Plus. Follow GTV Sports Plus on Twitter at MyGTV Sports Plus, verified account. So GBC verified everywhere. So follow GTV Sports Plus. Follow our channel. Follow the GBC pages across social media platforms and get access to credible information away from all the upsets and the hopefulness of some and the giving upness of others. UTAG has also not been sleeping, and they are laying blame left, right, center for a strike that they called. And I think I've heard the finance minister's name being called in there in UTAG's nationwide action.
Yeah, I was trying to get the story.
So we'll be having the statement on our screens very shortly, but the basic idea is that UTAG is not happy with its conditions of service, and they issued a communique, and I'll read a few parts of it. At its emergency meetings held Tuesday and Friday, 4th and 7th January, the National Executive of UTAG discussed the worsening conditions of service of the university teacher and the failure of the employer in addressing the plight of UTAG members within the agreed timelines. It may be recalled that the interim market premium, which was instituted following the implementation of the single spine pay policy, got frozen per a government white paper in 2013 for the purpose of the conduct of a LMS to determine a MP, so that's a market premium, payable to workers deserving of it. To date, this determination has not been made, which has resulted in the erosion of the university teacher's salary. There was a hope that by completing and implementing the LMS, which is the Labour Market Survey report of 2019, a review of the IMP would have put the university teacher on a relatively good salary stead. Regrettably, the recommendations of the 2019 LMS report without any accompanying technical report on the implementable MP is meaningless to UTAG, as it does not address the pertinent issues of improved COS. So it's a long communique, and we'll just have to leave it here. But they are raising concerns that an agreement was reached in 2013 for the teachers to get some monies payable to them as labor market premium, but that has not been paid, and so they are not working. And schools reopened. Most schools reopened yesterday. We saw some of the students arriving in schools, and yet the teachers are taking a stand.
Yep. Well, if it goes through, I get more money as a teacher. So, hey, self-interest is the highest interest.
Are you also on strike?
Well, I'm a teacher. I'm a university teacher.
You belong to UTAG.
Of course.
So, so what are your thoughts, Cal? Because you belong to.
We'd like more money.
Okay.
Pay teachers better. If you want to get better quality teachers, pay teachers better. It's as simple as that.
Simple.
Yeah. Pay teachers better if you want better quality teachers. Simple.
So they're saying that it's a decision to withdraw teaching and related activities until further notice with effect from Monday. So yesterday was Monday, January 10, 2022, and call on all UTAG members across the 15 branches to observe the directive. And as a matter of urgency, they are calling on the employer to restore members to the 2013 IMP of 114% of basic salary in the interim, and whilst government goes ahead to formulate the guidelines to implement the appropriate recommendations to address the conditions of service of the university teachers. So UTAG was on strike as starting from yesterday, so it started yesterday. Let's see if there are any discussions that go on today, and we'll keep you updated on government response. If there are any meetings on the labor front in that regard, we will update you accordingly. So we are going to go for a quick break, and when we return, Lufat will help us bring you that conversation on dementia. You don't want to miss it. The WhatsApp number is 055-5561-034. Send us your questions and comments, and we'll read some of them out loud. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube. You can also get us on Instagram and Twitter using the hashtag GTV Breakfast. And the flag of Ghana is still flying in that corner. And it will continue to fly throughout the day, throughout the week, until our next game and beyond. So it's Ghana now, Ghana tomorrow, Ghana forever, every day, Ghana forever,
every week,
Ghana forever.
Yes.
So take a break.
Thank you for the words this week.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling healthy.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars being an African country.
Can I show what is written on the bag?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn. So what's your pleasure? Dan Botras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling healthy. And there's much more on offer on GTV.
We still fly the flag. Don't mind the naysayers. Those people of the new faith. We're doing well. Friday is coming. Vim Day. You're watching GTV. Hashtag GTV Breakfast, 11th January 2022. Still to come, conversations on a petition to remove the chair of the Electoral Commission. Black Stars, what happened, post-mortem analysis, and a sit-down with music producer Zodiac. But for now, we're going into our health check conversation. It's on dementia. What exactly is it? What are the early signs and symptoms? This conversation is brought to you by Lufat Tablets and Suspension from Tobinco, Product of the Year, the Ghana Farm Awards 2021. It's an anti-malarial that comes in tablet and suspension form. It's taken after fatty meal for 3 days for effective results. Lufat proud to bring us health check, and today we're looking at dementia. Right back after this.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat.
Injija wuhuma malaria enka won to them. Lufat eye malaria to be. And now you may kiss the bride. Enter Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. And I Lufat. Lufat is 2 malaria sententem. FDA akishasa again.
You are watching GTV. This is GTV Breakfast. My name is Kaf. And 2 weeks ago, I was looking at a news item, and it claimed that the number of people with dementia worldwide could increase by 166%. And Africa and the Middle East are expected to experience the biggest changes. Africa is expecting a 357% increase in cases of dementia. It's a public health concern at all levels and can affect anyone. And to have this conversation with me is Dr. Isaac Newman-Arthur, who is a medical doctor and a clinical psychologist. What is dementia and how do we spot the early signs and stages? Dr. Arthur, good morning. Welcome to Health Check on GTV.
Good morning.
It's good to have
I'm sorry I couldn't join you.
No, you've joined us. You've joined us. You are here with us on Zoom, so no worry. Thank you very much. Good to have you here. Let's go straight into business. What exactly is dementia, and why is it important for us to discuss it this morning?
Yeah, it is part of a group of disorders we call neurocognitive, disorders. And it affects people's cognitive functions, memory, the ability, some thinking patterns, and also social interactions. And so part of a group of disorders we call neurocognitive disorders. As people age, there are some brain changes, and those changes affect some cognitive functions, especially memory, how they're able to some cognitive functions like the ability to judgment and all that, and that affects their social functioning, and they become a burden to the society. I put it simply, as people age, they behave like kids. We don't have people who are older and they behave like kids in quotes. So that kind of state is what dementia is, simply.
Okay.
And all over the world, 55 million people who have that, and 10 million people every year are newly diagnosed with dementia. And the economic burden, of these elderly people becoming dependent on their family and everybody around them is huge. And that is why it is important for us to talk about, especially in this part of the world, where elderly people, are treated, some of them are treated in a bad way. Most of the elderly problems, which is on the level of dementia, people blame it on all kinds of things. And I think there are some of them who are even were accused of being going into witchcraft and all that. Especially in our part of the world.
Indeed.
So
what are the major causes of dementia?
The first I'll talk about, so there are brain changes. As people age, there are all kinds of brain changes that goes on that affect certain brain areas that is responsible for memory and some cognitive functions and affect their social interaction. And that is the basis. But age is a risk factor. So the fact that you are growing older means that you are likely to develop dementia. 2, familial issues. What it means is that if someone is in your family who has dementia, you are also likely to also develop dementia. Then also, please, can you still hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Dr. Arthur.
Okay. Then also diet. So a poor diet and excessive use of alcohol. I think sometime last year we talked about alcohol. Some of the impact of alcohol on the brain, the resultant is dementia. Then also cardiovascular problems. So if someone has some hypertension or diabetes, or vascular changes, atherosclerosis and all that, it affects, blood supply to certain brain areas, and that causes some brain changes in those areas that the blood vessel supply, and that can also lead to dementia. Then also smoking. Smoking is also a risk factor, and frequent, head trauma. So when people frequently have some kind of damage to the brain, it can also affect, be a risk factor even for dementia. So these are basic risk factors, even for developing of dementia.
Okay, well, so it looks like a wide range from genetic to lifestyle and even to occupational risk. So I now understand why some former boxers end up with dementia issues because of the repeated trauma to their heads. What are the signs that one should look for to see that, hey, Charlie, maybe this case is probably leading to dementia? What are the signs and symptoms? I think we have an issue with the connection to Dr. Newman. Arthur, we will... can you hear me, Doctor? Okay, so you're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui. My guest is Dr. Isaac Newman. Arthur is a medical doctor and a clinical psychologist. Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. What are the signs and symptoms? What are the signs and what can we look out for to get the impression that, okay, well, maybe this person may be requiring help because they may be having...
So there are... Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
The line is breaking.
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Let me quickly change my position and get back to you.
All right, please change your position. And this is GTV. We're looking at dementia. Let me just read that report that shows you how serious this issue is. Because the number of people with dementia worldwide could increase by 166% from about 57.4 million people in 2019 to 152.8 million in 2050, which is just 28 years from now. This is data from the Global Burden of Disease, Injuries and Risk Factors studies. All right. So overall, researchers have predicted that the smallest percentage changes in the number of dementia cases will likely take place in the high-income Asia-Pacific area and Western Europe, while the largest percentage changes will occur in Eastern Sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa and the Middle East. Okay, so huge numbers. We're looking at between 300 and 367% changes. And it's a global problem that has a lot of impact on economies and how we look after people, because it tends to affect, more often than not, older people. And with the level of care, as far as older people are concerned, we know all the stories. We hear all the horror stories in Ghana about how people are just neglected, people are stigmatized because they have dementia. Let me see if I can get back to Dr. Isaac Newman. Arthur now, medical doctor, clinical psychologist, and we're looking at dementia. Dr. Arthur, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Great.
I want to know, what are the warning signs and symptoms of dementia?
Yeah, so we may have early to late, it's chronic progressive kind of illness. So we have early signs that you may have to look out for. I want to quickly run through some of them. The person becomes forgetful, and they actually lose time of track and familiar places. So you have this elderly person who is always forgetting things. They lose track with time, and even familiar places. They actually become lost in that area. So they'll be there and say, so where am I? you don't expect them to lose track of events. You don't expect them to be unfamiliar with certain familiar places, but they lose that kind of function. Then as the disease progresses, they become very, very forgetful with recent events and people's names. So you have this elderly person at home, and the person is your father or your mother or a relative who knows you, and they tend to forget about your name. They become confused while they are home, and also increase difficulty with communication. Whatever they want to communicate to you, they lose track of their own thoughts, and they increasingly become dependent on you for normal care, self-care. So this person was very, very active, moving on, doing everything they have to do for themselves. Now they can't even remember what to do for themselves. They put a key somewhere and they actually forget where it is. They may be going to one part of the room and they seem to be lost about even where they are in a very, very familiar environment. And also they keep wondering and repeat, their questions. They ask you this today. The next day they ask you the same thing. The next morning they're asking you, about the same things. And you're wondering what is happening to this relative of mine. Then as the disease advances, then they become very, very unaware with even time and place. They may even not be aware of whether they are home or they are at church or wherever they may tend to be. So for example, if you have these elderly people who you hear that they are missing. I know an elderly person who got missing and was found in a certain town. And he was asked, what are you doing here, Grandpa? He said he's looking for his wife.
Yeah.
And his wife had died 10 years back.
Wow.
So you may hear an elderly person is missing, and this person who maybe steps out and comes back alone. Now the person steps out and the person can't really find their way home.
Wow.
Especially in a familiar environment.
Mm-hmm.
Then also they increase, their over dependency goes up, for basic activities of daily living. They wake up, instead of going to bath, they become very difficult, finding their way around, it become very difficult, feeding become very difficult. So they become overly dependent on the people around them. And that is when, people may find, some relatives to stay with them and stuff like that. And social interactions become very, very difficult.
Right.
You can't sit down with them, by the table to have a meaningful conversation about things, as things actually progresses. Then they have difficulty, finding their way around, moving around and all that. Mm-hmm. And they may even become some aggressive. I knew someone who would even go hide things. They would actually pick maybe something from the kitchen, maybe some candy or something, or meal or something, and the person will go and hide it, and you ask them, why are you hiding this? And they say, and they will give all kinds of reasons for it. They may even not be aware they pick whatever you are talking about. So generally with memory, cognitive function, and also social interactions become very, very difficult. So if you have an elderly person who is going through that, you need to be able to suspect that the person is likely to have dementia, and they may need some kind of help to be able to maximize their well-being.
Right.
But like I said, it's a progressive kind of illness. So when it starts, it gets worse with time if we actually don't do anything about it.
Let me ask you a couple of questions picking up on what you've said. So why is it that they remember, they forget recent issues, but on the other hand can remember things from the long way back? Why is it that the recent memory gets missing?
Like I said, it kind of progresses. It kind of progresses. So the memory loss actually worsens with time. It worsens with time. So it affects everything else. So they start recent events and affect every other thing that they remember.
Okay.
You know, so it wears with time.
Okay.
Yes.
For me, this is quite personal to me because a couple of years back, I got a call from my brother who said our father was missing. He went for a walk and they couldn't find him. He went for a walk in the evening, around about 5, and we found him 16 hours later, 10 kilometers away from our home. And then we knew that there was something seriously wrong. We couldn't. He didn't know where he had gone, but we found him just because we took an advert. We made an announcement on Peace FM, and then somebody said they found somebody who matched the description. So for me, this is quite a personal thing. So what's going on there? I mean, they're completely unaware of their surroundings.
Yes. So the basic, like I told you, the basis is a loss of brain function. You know, the brain actually interacts with our environment. So you wake up this morning, for example, you woke up, you wore your dress, whilst you were coming to work, you had to interact with your environment, you know, and all that, you know, the brain picks that information, it will process that information, then you respond to the environment appropriately. But when you have that kind of problem, that kind of interaction is affected, you know, significantly. So it becomes very, very difficult for you to be able to interact with the environment. And basically that is it, you know, yes.
Okay, before we get to how to manage it, can younger people get dementia? You say it's normally affects old people, but can younger people, can somebody in their 20s or 30s get dementia?
Yeah, so generally above 65, you know, the rate increases, but you may have maybe about less than 10% of the total, you know, number of people who have dementia being below 65 years.
Okay.
You know, and
all right. So it's
but the figures are small.
Okay.
If you compare with those who are elderly.
Okay. We'll talk about management right now, but before that, I just want to remind you who, if you're watching us, this is a conversation on dementia. It's a disease that affects memory and has lots of implications on families, on health caregivers, even the person who's suffering from the condition. If you have any experience, if you have a relative who is going through dementia, if you've had the experience of caring for somebody with dementia, would love to you to share your experience with us. 055-556-1034 is a WhatsApp number. 055-556-1034. My guest is Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur. He's a doctor and a clinical psychologist. Dr. Arthur, what kind of doctor do you need to see if you believe that your family member or relative or friend has dementia?
Yeah, well, generally, the management is holistic. What it means is that you may have multiple, holistic and multidisciplinary. What it means is that you may have different kind of professionals handling this person. So you may need someone who is a specialist, you know, with a medical doctor to attend to the person. The person would actually, you know, maybe give them some medications to maximize their, you know, cognitive function and all that. They may also have to manage the underlying medical condition. So the person may have diabetes or hypertension or some, you know, cholesterol-related problems. The person may, may also have maybe HIV or something that is affecting brain function. So you need the medical doctor to actually, you know, help, you know, with that aspect. Then they may refer to see a psychologist who will deal with all the other issues, you know, regarding this problem. So they may go through some kind of therapies to help them, you know, remember things, with, you know, and all that, deal with the depression relating with it and the anxiety relating with it, and also family therapy. You know, it involves the family. So you may have to meet the family and take them through all kinds of, you know, therapies to help them know how to handle the patient and the impact of whatever is happening on the family itself. You know, so you need that kind of holistic approach to managing someone who has dementia. Then obviously, you need other social support system to be able to help the person. And if you know, financial issues become very, very important in this situation, because that person becomes overly dependent on the family. So you may even have to teach the family what to do to be able to handle such a person. So it's more like a holistic, multidisciplinary approach. Depending on what the causes are, the risk factors involved, the impact of dementia on the person, you may have to use multiple approaches to be able to help the person. But when you're able to find them early, you're able to do more than when they keep the person home, especially in our environment where some of these things are blamed on all kinds of things. They keep the family member, forever. And when they realize things are very, very difficult, they bring the person to the hospital for some kind of attention.
Right. Before the questions from our viewers, can dementia be slowed down and totally cured?
No. So it's a chronic progressive disease, illness or a disorder. So you can't, you don't cure dementia, but you're able to manage it. You mentioned slow down. What it means is that if we find it early, you're able to control the risk factors involved so that it doesn't progress, to become very worse, or you may slow it down a bit, but it's a chronic, a kind of, illness, and it may be difficult to cure it.
All right. 055-556-1034 is the WhatsApp number. You're watching GTV. Thelma has your questions. Dr. Arthur, we've got some questions from our very curious viewers, so just listen up and Thelma will throw the questions through to you.
Okay. Good morning, Doc. Thanks for being on. This is from Solo in Medina, and he's asking if young people also get dementia. Because we mentioned something about age being a factor, and that the older you get, the more likely you are to have the condition. So do young people also get dementia?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it that they are less than about 10%. So they are in a minority. We have a young person, and especially if they have other risk factors. Like I spoke to you, some cardiovascular problems, alcohol, smoking and all that, and also Down syndrome. So a young person who has a risk factor for dementia is likely to develop it earlier, or may have HIV, with neurocognitive, changes here and there. So if the person has these risk factors, they are likely to develop it earlier. But usually it's in the elderly, those above 65.
Okay, so here's another one. Good morning, Thelma, Val, and Kaf. I had an early meeting yesterday morning and took a boat. I went into my handbag searching for my reading glasses. The driver asked me kindly if there is a problem. I replied, I was looking for my reading glasses. He smiled and said I was wearing them. Can this be called the early stages of dementia? This is from Trisha.
No, I think that I don't think so. I think we all forget things. I remember, I picked, usually when I bath, I wear my socks before I wear, I pick both shoes, wear both socks before I wear my shoes. But I think I both shoes, so I wear both socks. Some people wear one socks before one shoe and that kind of thing. I don't do that. And I forgot I was wearing the other socks and I was looking for it. It doesn't mean I have dementia.
Okay.
And when you are stressed, you are worried, you are anxious, you have deadlines, you have all kinds of things, you are dealing with. You are likely to go through things like that. It is not necessarily dementia.
Okay, so when does being merely forgetful become a problem? When do you come to the realization that this has gone beyond, it has crossed a certain line and I need help, or someone needs help?
When it becomes persistent and you keep forgetting things, you need to go to the hospital for some evaluation. Yes.
Good shout. Good morning. Thanks to GTV Breakfast and Dr. Arthur. I now understand my parents better and how to go about them without hurting their emotions. Thank you, Effa, for sending that to us. Here's one from Mina. Was dementia was it dementia that Saul suffered from and David solves it with good music? You remember there's a Bible story about King Saul having suffered some conditions, and then David at the time would come in to play some soothing music to help put his mind at ease. And Mina is asking if it could have been dementia that troubled King Saul.
Well, I think the Bible was clear about that. So the Bible didn't mention. If it was dementia, the Bible will mention it. that is one of the good things about the Bible. The Bible is always straightforward. It would have mentioned that this was dementia or something. But the Bible was, it's an evil spirit from God came to trouble him.
And an evil spirit. Okay, Mena, you have your answer. Dr. Arthur, St. Mark is asking a question whether dementia is hereditary. He's saying, is it hereditary? I see these signs in my mother. Doc, I think we're having a few of some network challenges, but I can understand how Mark could have some concerns because if it's hereditary, then he needs perhaps to make some lifestyle changes and adjustments. Yeah. And I'm sure once we establish the contact with a good doctor, then some more professional advice could be coming on. There's another one here asking if certain foods can cause dementia. And Lovely is asking that question from Mataeko. What's Ata saying? Good morning. I do forget to close my fridge several times. Could that be dementia? The hashtag is GTV Breakfast. Thank you for messaging us, Ata. Doc, are you back with us?
Yes, yes.
Great. So someone was asking if it's hereditary, and another question came in about whether you can eat certain foods that cause dementia.
I think I spoke to you. I spoke about that earlier on. I talked about the fact that if you have one in your family, a close relative, there are some genetic risk. So it means that if your mother or your father had, dementia, you're likely to also develop dementia. So there is that kind of, genetic linkage. And the foods that is rich in vitamin D actually is protective. So poor diet actually is a risk factor. So any diet that is low in all those vitamins, vitamin D, B, complex and all that, folate and all that, can actually be a risk for dementia. So that is.
Okay, Doc. So Effa is back and she's asking more questions. She's saying that my mom suffered stroke for a whole year and she's fine now, but she forgot all her cooking skills and was even scared of going near fire. How can we help her?
Stroke is a very major, medical condition which has other complications, like some neurocognitive changes. You can have memory problems, personality problems. You have depression, anxiety, and all that relating to stroke. And so you can't cure stroke. Depending on how severe it is, you can't cure stroke. So whatever the complications are, she may need to seek, the right care. Unfortunately, people with things like that, they don't continue care. They don't continue their medications, and they don't actually follow through what they are supposed to follow through. And with some kind of, if it's severe enough, it may affect all your functioning. And so it's a hard thing for her. When things get to that point, as a medical doctor, there's little you can do. You can only manage the situation, maximize their functioning, and improve on their quality of health. But total remission is difficult.
All right. Thank you, Doc. I'll hand it over back to CAF now to take over.
Thank you very much, Thelma. Thanks to all of you for sending your messages in on 055-556-1034. Coming up shortly is the headlines with my guest. But before that, I want to wrap it up with Dr. Arthur, medical doctor, clinical psychologist. We'd like to give a word for those who are looking after people who are living with dementia. What should be the key thing that they should be thinking about and doing?
Yeah, I think you should relate with them with understanding and don't blame them for their inability to function on a certain level. Sometimes people maltreat, people like that and blame them for witchcraft and stuff like that for things that is a health issue. So I think they should handle those people with understanding. And they will also have to realize that they're also growing old. They may be, they will also have dementia as they grow older. So they would have to be more understanding. I think the basic is understanding them, knowing that they have a health situation and the fact that they may need some kind of support on a daily basis. And so that's it. And if they have to do some reviews or go to the hospital for some medications or whatever the suggestions are from the hospital, we need to be consistent in following those measures. Yes.
I thank you so much. It's been really educative. Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur, is a doctor, clinical psychologist. We've been looking at dementia, spotting the early signs and stages. And this conversation was on Health Check, brought to you by Lufat Tablet and Suspension, which is taken after a fatty meal for 3 days for effective results. It's a brand of anti-malaria you can trust. It's from Tobinco, and they won Product of the Year at the Ghana Farmer Awards 2021. Today is the 11th of January, the day after the Black Stars just gave you reasons to have hope. On Friday, we'll be smiling, even more than now, okay? No shaking. We are getting there, all right? 40 years of misery and roaming around in the wilderness are over. When I return, we'll have a conversation on the headlines, big stories in the news, and keep it here on GTV. We're on YouTube and Facebook. Look for Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Follow us, like and share, and keep it real right here. Headlines after this.
Live from GB, coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling helping.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, let's take a peek.
I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what this restaurant is about?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and tell me. So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling helping. And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast. So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning.
You want it served buffet style? Complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant.
Or room service?
We've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
With a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
So we are GBC, GBC, GBC,
setters. You have blazed the trail. Aiko, GTV, Aiko, Pape, Aiko, GBC, Aiko, Yoko Biemen, Aiko, GBC, Aiko. You have set the pace. You have blazed the trail. Aiko, GBC, Aiko, Vampire Quack, Aiko, GBC, Aiko, Yoko Biemen, Aiko, GBC, Aiko. You have set the pace. You have blazed the trail. Aiko, GBC, Aiko, GBC, you say, yeah, GBC, you say, GBC, GBC, yeah. You have set the pace. You have blazed the trail.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling healthy.
Yeah, all the time. Let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what is written on the bag?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn. So what's your pleasure, Danvotras, at that time of the morning? So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling healthy. And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast. So what's your pleasure, Danvotras, at that time of the morning?
You want it served buffet style? Complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant.
Or room service?
We've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
with a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
So we
Yeah. God is blessing us. Don't worry, okay? It'll be fine. We'll shine. That black star will shine, all right? We'll shine. We're winning the thing this year. We're winning this year. For like 40 years. It's enough, all right? It's enough. Enough is enough. We're winning, okay? 05555561034. I saw a lot of comments about dementia and what to do to prevent it or to slow it down. Well, it comes with age, but if you don't smoke, you lower the risk. If you don't drink, you lower the risk. If you don't eat well, if you eat well, you lower the risk. Okay, so watch them, and you'll be fine. All right, good. We're now going into our conversation on the headlines. What's in the news? My guest is a historian and a lawyer. He wowed you during the income month in September, and he's here again to bring his perspective and insights to the news making headlines. So, Yao Anochi Frimpong. Afishapa. The whole year, I have not seen you.
Thank God, today we have met.
We have met?
Yeah.
How did you enter the year?
Well, full of hope.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And believing that things will be well with this country and, in fact, the entire continent of Africa.
Good.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. And I can see you're dressed, ready to go to court. From here, you're going to court?
From here, yes.
Okay. Is it exciting to be a lawyer in Ghana?
I think so.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay. You recommend it
just
highly?
As being a media man.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
the whole world sees you. They see you more than us.
But I'm sure you enjoy the job.
Well, I have to, yeah.
You have to. You have to. Good stuff. Let's go through the headlines briefly. I'll start with the Daily Graphic, and these are the headlines I have for you. Preserve country's unity as Sante charges media. Students plead with government to address UTAG concerns, UTAG being the University Teachers Association of Ghana. Do away with propaganda, moderator tells Ghanaians. Allegations over presidential jet, armed forces report as SEPA boss to IGP. Yeah. Poor salary administration cause of strikes, says Austin Gammon. That's your Daily Graphic. Now, the Finder, strike, is UTAG being unfair based on documents it signed with state agencies? COVID-19, KIA records over 2,000 positive cases in a month. Road offences fines rake in 2.6 million cedis in 2021. And GPRTU, being the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, meets today on transport fares. That's your Finder. And then the Anchor says NSS, National Service Secretariat, to become employment agency, says Executive Director. Those are the big headlines for today. I will start with UTAG. So University Teachers Association of Ghana is in the news. So the students are pleading with the government to address UTAG concerns. UTAG is saying they want the government to address issues that were put together in a proposal dated as far back as 2011, Mr. Frimpong. And they declared a strike yesterday, 10th of January. Students are not happy. Academic calendar risks being disrupted, but the teachers are insisting that they want to get what is due them. What are your thoughts on the UTAG strike?
Well, my worry with UTAG is the fact that anytime they would want to embark on strike, they do it when it would affect the nation most and not, strictly speaking, the government.
When is that? When does it affect the nation most?
When it affects the nation most is when the universities are supposed to reopen and then commence academic work. And it's like when they do it, it throws more light on their strike and draws public attention to it.
Is it not strategic? Because what would be the point of doing the strike during the holidays?
So that is one side of the coin, that they do it at a time when it will affect the government most. And to a very high extent, people have not liked that. But always my argument has been this. UTAG, unlike CPP or NPP or NDC, it's not a political party. And so there is no way UTAG executive can take a decision affecting the entire university teachers of Ghana when some of them are MPP, NDC, whatever, with their colleagues not supporting it. So whenever they raise their voice, then it means that it is like a consensus coming from all of them.
A non-political consensus.
That is one. And then number two, the fact that, borrowing your word, you coming at a very strategic time, it means that they want the whole nation to point their attention
to their issues.
To their issues. So when it happens that way, everybody would decipher the problem. Right. And when it happens, I believe that they are almost always right. Very poor salaries, poor working conditions, insufficient research allowances, housing, always the same. So I would wish that in situations like this, government would involve stakeholders such as the National Union of Ghana Students, National Labour Commission, NLC, Trades Union Congress, and then whatever, and then the lecturers themselves, and ensure that at every material time, everybody will be bounded to accept a resolution during the vacation, so that when you breach it, then the UTAG will be right in embarking on strike, and the whole nation would also be right in pointing accusing fingers at the government.
Right.
On the other hand, when it turns out, as I'm reading today, that UTAG has rather breached the agreement and signed with the government, then they are not above anybody in the country.
Okay.
The government has the right to resort to whatever can be done to an employee who decides not to go to work, and I believe it should be a harsh one.
Okay.
Because they are not different from other entities operating within the system.
The students are pleading with their teachers, or pleading rather with the government to address the concerns of their teachers, and because of course a strike will affect them directly. If the teachers are not teaching, the students are not going to get any instruction from the striking teachers. So a lot of people are affected by this strike. But let's broaden the conversation. Why is it that the authorities of Ghana appear to have failed to recognize the importance of teachers and to make sure that their conditions are taken care of? I mean, the countries that we admire that are doing very well place a high premium on education, place a high premium on the people who deliver the education, being the teachers. Why are we failing the teachers?
Yeah, any state, and if you are mentioning Ghana, that does that by neglecting the welfare of the teacher. I would say that it is a misplaced priority. It is a misplaced priority. And the result is always to be that when you produce students, and for that matter, graduates, they would not fit anywhere, especially when they go outside the country. So what I would say is that we should go back to the Nkrumah era. During the First Republic, the president made sure one thing had been done, that once you were a graduate, you receive the same pay wherever you worked. So you would never jealous somebody working at GCB, working with the mines, working at Bank of Ghana.
I see. You got the same.
Yeah, that's what he placed them. So if there will be other benefits, then it's because you are working at that place.
But the salary was the same.
Well, it will be the same because we are both graduates. If you are holding master's, so you can decide to teach in the private school. You know, so that was the reason why wherever you placed graduates, they were very content.
Would it be also because at that time the government had the means, they had there was the money, reserves, ability to pay?
It should be a constant and continuous system that when it comes to the development of the country, the teacher comes first. And so their interests must always be taken seriously. If we were to do that, and I believe that it should be something that should even go beyond government. Once this thing is always happening, what is the Council of State doing about it? I believe that if we have a Council of State in motion, that Council of State, by advising government, by extension, should extend its advice to everybody in the country. And that means being a consultant to the UTAG, being a consultant to trades union, and at the end of the day, ensuring that always the interests of teachers will be placed first. Come to think about a situation whereby, let's say you are a director with some of the corporations and authorities I wouldn't mention here, and the next day we find you in a very beautiful Ghanaian say Tia Rubber Land Cruiser,
fresh one,
and then ask yourself whether the doctor at Ministry of Health receives the same thing, the teacher at the university or any secondary school, even the headmaster receives the same thing. And that is why I believe that the country should have a second look at all these things, and even to place a check on entities operating in the state that are making their directors enjoy much more than professors at the universities, and then doctors at our hospitals, and also the agri sector, which is equally very important.
Indeed. Okay. We've been joined, thank you very much, we've been joined by the Dean for the School of Graduate Studies at UPSA, which is another a public university, Professor John Koku Mauto. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
Good to have you.
You came in right on cue because we're talking UTAG matters, and I know that you will be directly interested in this issue. So the students are pleading with the government to see inside, as we say in Pidgin, see inside for UTAG, and others are also asking in the finder whether UTAG is being fair, and I want to bring you in on that point. So the accusation is that UTAG is playing unfairly. The tactics that you're using to prosecute your case, it appears, and I'm reading from the finder, that UTAG keeps resorting to unfair tactics in breach of agreements to hold government and students hostage. UTAG, you're accusing government of flouting agreed timelines, but it's a whole argument about playing unfairly. You basically want to put a gun, figuratively, to the head of the government and say, look, pay us this or it won't work. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Mauto?
Thank you, Kafi, and thank you for having me here. It's unfortunate I was late. Very sorry.
No problem.
I apologize.
No problem. Yeah. You came right on time.
All right. Indeed. In fact, if you want to look at the whole situation, the lecturer's condition of service is not the best of conditions. Let's admit that. And even our employer knows that what our colleagues are taking out there doesn't really motivate people to continue staying in the classroom. Those are facts. Going through your training, spending money to obtain that qualification, that has been even prescribed by my employer, that to be a lecturer, minimum you should have a PhD. You go through all those training and you come, and then the amount given to you is not the best of conditional service. I think for that, we will continue to say that our employer must do something about our conditions. Now, whilst coming out, I think I was listening to my senior colleague. Mr. Frimpong. Indeed, here there's a number of, series of blame games as to UTAG not being fair, as to the government delaying. I'm speaking as a member of UTAG. I don't speak, I'm not part of the executives of UTAG, but what they tell us and what we confirm is what we normally will probably also submit on the basis of our ideologies and beliefs. Kavri, it's unfortunate that the NLC,
National Labour Commission.
Thank you. National Labour Commission. I think there has been a number of accusations to the NLC by UTAG. I've listened to the Fair Wage Commission. They've also submitted their stance on this whole thing. At the end of the day, what is the issue? It's about ability to pay the people, okay, and what the people are demanding.
Are you asking for a fair wage?
Oh yes. Oh, that's all UTAG is asking. We are not asking for more. We are asking for a deserving salary. That indeed, if our employer is saying that this is what is expected of you to be a lecturer, then look at it commensurate salary.
What is the current figure now for an entry-level lecturer with a PhD?
Okay, so with a PhD I'm an administrator, so I know a little bit about the entry. I entered about 15 years ago. We are taking over 5,000 service.
Gross?
No.
Oh, net?
Take home.
Take home is 5,000 service?
Yes. Nothing else. You
don't have any allowances?
You don't. Everything is consolidated.
5,000 take away.
Take home. This is what I talk. The public must know. In fact, sometimes it looks as if the lecturers are demanding too much. Okay, even though I have my reservations about some of those things, but indeed, we have to, our employer must take a second look at our conditional service. That is what we are asking for.
Yeah.
This is the entry point of somebody with a PhD When in actual fact, you have your competitors, other people who need the same qualification, paying more than that. Indeed, you don't expect the Ghanaian lecturer in higher institutions to be quiet on some of those things.
Does this result in an exodus of lecturers from the public university to the private university?
Oh yes. Look, Kofi, are you saying that with a PhD, if I'm to be offered even 30% above what I'm taking, I'll stay? I wouldn't stay. So there's always this exodus. Go to South Africa. Go to some of the Southern African countries. Every now and then, Ghanaian lecturers are migrating to these countries because of conditional service.
For those who stay here, what do they do? I mean, you have people doing part-time gigs elsewhere. What can a PhD do in addition to their research and teaching in the university? Okay. What are the other opportunities that are available?
So that's the argument, that indeed we have that level of time to engage in other commercial, activities that probably will enhance our financial. But I see there are rules to it. Your university may not even allow you to do some of those things to a certain level, to a certain credit hours. Okay, so this is not an issue. And as a lecturer, you need to always conduct constant research to give you that, current status of knowledge. Okay, you need to always read before meeting your students. You have to do research, and that is all we are asking. That our employer, please, you need to enhance our what do you call it, conditional service. But you see, let's now go into some of the counter accusations. That is why I mentioned National Labour Commission. I listened to my president yesterday, and indeed there were overtures that when they even wanted to inform NLC had closed they said they were on break from 20th December. Chairman, which public? And you see, even when we go on break, we leave essential staff.
Yeah, they went to chill on a holiday.
No, I mean, and you were addressing a critical issue of people's conditional service.
Did work stop from the 20th December?
You cannot stop working. And when you do this, you infuriate the people.
Yeah.
Even though...
Is NLC back to work?
Yes, they issued a statement yesterday. Okay. So, I mean...
You are assuming that they're back?
Yeah. No. They issued... Okay. They are inviting our leaders and Fair Wage Commission and other stakeholders for a meeting tomorrow. And that is what... This would have happened earlier. And I don't think if NLC and the Fair Wage and UTAC had met earlier, we started, UTAC started trumpeting this issue of striking since last year. If you have monitored very well, it was Legon that threatened.
Yeah.
And then they came back and said, look, even the national executives are already threatened that if these conditions are not met, we were going on strike.
So the signs were there.
The signs were there. So it was left for the stakeholders to have been more proactive. Are you okay? Notwithstanding all this, Kofi, I am. As academicians, we have to provide solution to challenges.
What's the solution?
Thank you. That is, we need a sustainable solution. In fact, I mean, I have a principle. I don't want to stay idle and be paid salary. That is not my principle. I'm just hoping for the day that there will be nothing like strike as an alternative. Oh no, I'm telling you, it's an alternative to negotiate our salaries or conditions.
Okay.
Because we have a legal and social contract with our students.
And at this point,
who will suffer because of
your action. And at this point, I want to bring in one of your executives. Okay. So Dr. Samuel Wedi Kusi is UCC UTAG president. UCC is University of Cape Coast UTAG president. Dr. Wedi Kusi, good morning. Happy New Year. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, my brother, and many happy returns.
Excellent. What is the state of play right now with your strike action?
Yes, so I think the current development is that, following our intention to go on strike, there were some quick assembly to give us the labor market survey, which was just one of the issues, which was just outstanding. And we have reiterated that when we were exiting the negotiation post our strike, following the appeals for us to come back in August, we were clear in our minds. The employer had indicated that they were going to complete the labor market survey by October. We, out of our own magnanimity, indicated that, look, October was too tight because we were in August. So make sure that you complete everything by December so that we can go into issues of implementation. We never heard anything until this intention of strike came, where they quickly had to organize on the 5th of January to give the report. And we felt that, look, since 2013, you gave us a market premium in 2012. You started implementation. You were supposed to review it from time to time. You did the labor market survey with the intention of reviewing in 2014, which you never implemented. You have done one in 2019, and the report is coming out in 2022.
Right.
And so if we look at all these, coupled with the fact that even some of the things we had agreed on paper, implementation became a challenge, then we feel that there is a deliberate attempt to delay revision of this whole arrangement.
Okay, Dr. Bodikosi, I just want you to clarify two things for me. What is a labor market survey? What exactly is that? And what is the market premium?
The labor market survey is just a study, a research to indicate which workforce is in critical demand, which workforce is scarce.
Okay.
And therefore, an attempt to retain them, we put a certain premium on them, and that is what we call the labor market, and we call the market premium.
Okay. So what were the findings of the labor market survey?
Well, even with the current labor market survey, it still says that a chunk of the people in the tertiary space is critical and they are scarce.
What does that mean?
So
if you are critical and scarce, what does that mean to me, a layman? What does that mean?
That means that the demand on you is high, and in terms of supply, you are also limited. So I don't know how to put it, but the point is that it is difficult to come by these people. Don't forget that now in all our tertiary space in the public universities, you need a PhD holder. And I'm sure colleagues will tell you that anytime we even open the spaces to employ, you do not find these PhD holders. So the point is that we cannot be getting these high-skilled men and women and refusing to revise their salaries for God knows how many years, only since 2013. And so the attempt to delay is the issue, and that is why we have said that if we think that we need more time to revise and to implement these studies that we have done, find a way of adjusting the salaries, especially the market premium or the interim market premium arrangement we had in 2013. I have heard, arguments that is being trumpeted around saying that, look, that is an absolute figure and it is only government that, yes, that has the prerogative, it is not negotiable.
Right.
If that argument is even correct as per the white paper, you cannot say that you have given me a certain condition and since 2013, it is not negotiable and it is only government that has the prerogative to determine whether I am worth more than that or not. And for that matter, we should keep quiet.
Okay.
And so that is why we feel that this is the time for us to indeed we have fought over the years to get some conditions improved. But now we think that the delay can no longer hold, and there is the need for us to begin to look at how best we can. So quickly, National Labour Commission jumps into the fray. That has been their modus operandi, and it's a bit unfortunate. They have been here when we were writing letters in November, reminding. We even attempted serving them. That was a problem. But to us, this is a resumption of a strike which was suspended. So if the argument is that we have not followed a certain laid down rules and all that, we have followed that. We tried serving them. They had given instructions to their security men not to even take any letter. We went around it and said they gave it to them through their emails. We also did a post, and the records are there to show. And so we remain resolute. They have, as you asked the state, they have invited us to appear tomorrow. We are still discussing with our legal team, and we are mobilizing our men. We are scattered all over.
All right.
And so we'll provide an appropriate response to the letter that has been issued.
Okay, just a couple of quick points. Is there a figure to this market premium? What does it look like in terms of CDs?
So that is the unfortunate part. So if you check the statement we put out, we were expecting that the labor market survey which came out, there would have been a followed-up technical report, which indicates how much now people are worth, people that you deem so critical, how much they are worth. But that was lacking. And that is why UTAG says that just issuing the report alone, it means very little to us, because the reality is that the figures that are supposed to be attached to it, which possibly we can draw around it, it's not there. It's not it's not attached to this very report.
Okay.
So then it becomes very difficult for anybody to quantify any money at all.
Right. I'm curious, how many members does UTAG have?
UTAG currently is in the neighborhood of 5,000, between 5,000 and 5,500.
Okay. How many fresh PhDs are minted every year on average?
Well, these are figures I do not have, and I would not want to conjecture immediately, but these are things we can. But I can tell you that most of our universities are graduating the number of PhDs annually. They are graduating them. But the point is that we graduate people and they are not comfortable coming into academia. Why? Because our salaries, in fact, if you check, some of the students we have trained even with first degree are earning more than the average lecturer.
Yeah,
and so people are not really attracted to academia. And that is the point we are talking about. If you are saying we are critical and you need to place a certain value on us, then it's important that we find ways of attracting people into academia. And that is why most people, we go on retirement and we have to do post-retirement contracts to do up to about 70 years, which is because most people are not there, they are not willing to take up the appointments into the universities.
Right.
And so these things are critical that we need to look at.
Deal with. What is the expectation of UTAG that a fresh PhD should receive first salary? How much are we looking at?
We have done the permutations, and we think that it will not be out of place for a new entrant to be getting the equivalent of say $2,000, and we think that is very, very moderate.
Which is about 12,000 CDs, give or take, 13,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What's next? I memean, what is your next? You said that you'll be speaking in Labour Commission tomorrow. Does that mean the strike is still on, or you've suspended? What is the situation?
No, the strike is still on.
It's still on.
Labour Commission has invited. We would, as I said, we will respond appropriately if we are able to honor it tomorrow or any other day. We will look at it because our men and women are scattered all over. The leadership is all over the country. So we will honor that and we'll take it from there. But the point is that if we are going to go legal and all that, it's not going to end well, because I can be 100% sure that our members across the country are resolute this time, because you see, we have a recent history in August where we decided that, look, because of our students, we do not want to sit idle. Because of COVID, we are coming back so that we could teach our students for them to go home. We have done that, and so this time round, our members are resolute. If we don't get any meaningful response and we still want to stick to issues of legalities and going to court and all that, I'm sure then we're going to have a protracted strike. And that is not what any of us wants. And so we think that the employer should open up. Let's have a frank discussion. This banter of legalities and going to the 2013 white paper and making references, which of course we can also have a counter. If that is where we want to go, then so be it. But if we really want to have everybody back to teach, students are back now. If we want to get lecturers to come back and teach quickly, then all of us, the employer, should be very responsive to these things we are talking about. And let's sit down and frankly discuss the issues. Other than that, if we want to go the way we are going to go, we are anticipating, then I can foresee that we're going to have a very protracted strike action.
Where protracted means what? The whole year?
Well, it could be. We for now we wait to see, because yes, what is the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario in terms of labor relations is that, okay, the courts are saying go to court, go back and teach. Leadership, what will leadership do? Leadership says, okay, please go back and teach. Colleagues say we are not going. What happens? You freeze salaries. For how long are you going to do that?
You think the government can freeze your salaries?
Well, those are talks people have bandied around. We have heard people talking about those things in the media. Yes. And how long are you going to do that? And that is why we are saying that let us not begin to talk the hard line. If you want to go the hard line, then everybody takes an entrenched position. It's not going to help any of us.
Okay. The academics can go harder than the government, right?
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samuel Bwedi Kusi is the UCC UTAG president, UCC of course being University of Cape Coast, University Teachers Association of Ghana president, talking about the issues that have to do with money matters for university lecturers. I'd love to find out what is on your mind this morning with respect to this conversation. Our WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034, and Thelma will be reading those messages for you. This is quite an important topic, so I thought we'd spend some time on it. Brief comments on what you heard, Mr. Frimpong.
Well, I would say that UTAG should reconsider its position in the interest of our children.
Okay. Yep. How about government? You also pay them their money.
Well, I know at the end of the day, government will respond positively. Yes.
Do you have confidence in your president? Well, he's one, not your UTAG, not the UPS president, but he's one of the presidents of your association.
Listening to the executives, okay, it tells you that there's that commitment to dialogue.
Okay.
So the various stakeholders should be more proactive. In fact, I have this confidence in the new Fair Wage Commission, the CEO of the Fair Wage Commission, who was just appointed a few weeks ago. It tells, listening to him, it tells you that he is so much interested in dialoguing, and he's so committed to addressing some of the issues. So once again, our leaders should go back to the table again, continue the dialogue. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, we are not happy staying home.
Okay.
We want to go back to work.
You want to work?
That is why we applied and we're engaged, and we just want to work and then earn very good income.
All right.
We appeal to our employer to, at least, if not everything, meet us.
Is there a minimum somewhere? 12K is good.
Our people are really fighting for us. I understand them. For some of them, we know them personally, that if it's about them, they have their way. But the masses, okay, and he mentioned something, attracting the best. Sometimes we train and they buy themselves out.
They'll move off.
Look, there are several scenarios I can give you that your students look at you and they don't have that confidence to join the profession. That is the unfortunate side of it. So
it's like a coach being paid $10,000 a month, dealing with millionaire
players.
Look at you and Yusuf, we can buy your tracksuit. That kind of thing.
That's the case now. But I have confidence in our executive. I have confidence in the Fair Wage Commission.
All right.
And I know the next few days they'll address this issue for us to go back to work.
Sure.
And then help our students who are suffering. But they are the main interest. They are suffering because of what is happening.
And they're on your side, appealing to government on your side.
Yes.
So that's good. We like it. The student-lecturer collaboration is good. But that doesn't mean that they will pass all of you if you don't write your exams and give the right answers.
For that they know.
That's what I idea.
They know it.
I look forward to hearing your messages. 055-556-1034. Let's go to another story here. A young man is in trouble. He's being reported to the IGP. And these days, if they report you to the IGP, sleep may evade you. Okay, so these are allegations over a presidential jet. Today's Daily Graphic. Armed Forces report ASEPA boss to IGP. So ASEPA is the Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability. The boss of that organization is Mr. Mensa Thompson. And now the Ghana Armed Forces have referred him, the executive director of ASEPA, to the Inspector General of Police for further investigations. What happened? What went wrong? Well, Mr. Mensa Thompson made allegations that the presidential aircraft was used by relatives of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for a shopping trip to the UK. between December 20 and December 30, 2021. So this is what Thompson alleged. Now, Ghana Armed Forces, which operates the Falcon X presidential jet, denied the allegation in a statement issued. And they said, in view of the seriousness we attach to such malicious publications, the issue has been referred to the Inspector General of Police for further allegations. So this was an allegation on Facebook, a Facebook post by Mr. Thompson, claiming that there was a very high-flying shopping trip to the UK using a jet that belongs to the state. It turns out that the publication was not true, and Mr. Thompson has withdrawn his allegation and apologized to Ghana Armed Forces. He went back to Facebook where he made the allegations, and this is what the quote is. I've had an extensive conversation this morning with the PRO of the Ghana Armed Forces, pursuant to the usage of the presidential jet by the children of the relatives of the president. In the same medium, I made the earlier publication. I withdraw the publication pending an official response from the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. I unreservedly apologize to Ghana Armed Forces if their image was in any way affected by the publication. We shall put out for your consumption the response to our request from the GCAA, records of the Falcon 900X. Police have not yet invited him, but he says if the police invite him, he will go. Does he have a choice? What are your thoughts? I'll start with Dr. Mauto.
These are some of the issues. Using the social media platform, churning out information that you have not verified. It tells you that this man did not go a step further to substantiate whatever he said. And you see, with such news, if this would have triggered some confusion in the public space, apology will not bring it back again. I've met this young man on a number of platforms, and at least he even coming out to apologize, retract, and even withdraw it on the social media platform, the same medium to withdraw it. I think that is a honorable thing to do. But he must be very, very careful. I said, you see, we are building a country. We have decided as people to use democracy as a means of governance. So at that level, you are a policy think tank. You cannot just make statements. Look, even this issue over the weekend, we argued over it. That sometimes you need to verify before you speak.
Yeah.
And people
manifest who is on the plane, things of travel records.
The image, there's an image of the president, the first gentleman of this country.
And the armed forces.
I'm telling you. Yeah. And you are dealing with the president, and you've not even verified as to whether what you have heard or somebody have told you is the truth. And often than not, some of those things are propaganda to dent the image of people. Okay? I didn't expect him to do that, even though there are some traces of some of the things he says which are unverified. And I've met him on a number of platforms. That's why I think he should be very, very careful. But I want to say that indeed, once he has apologized, he has retracted, maybe the police should take its course. I mean, he said he's expected. He knows the extent to which this thing can go a long way to affect his personal career as well as the image of our president. The presidential jet has been an issue and a discussion for some time
for
now.
A long time.
For a long time.
Since Mr. Nutu started talking about how the president
need a new jet
because it's one that he can afford him to take a shower in the skies, and that has become a whole trend of conversation. So to bring in the presidential jet again, connecting it to the president, and tell the whole thing is false. It puts the guy in
it's so disheartening the way they embellish some of these things.
The stories,
I mean, the president buffing in the sky. It doesn't show that respect to our president.
Mr. Nutu made comments which occasioned that, but we'll put that aside. Let me bring in Mr. Yao Frimpong. So you see, the use of social media to propagate information, and especially to know that the information turns out to be false. And then you just use the same medium to apologize. It goes beyond that, doesn't it? Then what are the legal implications of a publication like this going out on the air?
Very simple. There's nobody who is above the law. So I believe that looking at the law as it is on paper, the armed forces are doing the right thing, having reported the gentleman, and I mean a SEPA, to the IGP. But I believe that going further, my brother Kafi, I think the other side of the coin is to the effect that the armed forces are also going too far. Yes, because you see, the armed forces is a wing of the executive, and then you report the civil society organization to
the police.
The police, which is a wing of the executive, and then all prosecutions are done in the name of the Attorney General, that is the executive. So it means that right from the very word go, your intention is to ensure that the executive will deal with the gentleman. Now, going backwards, I would not see it's a palatable matter connecting the armed forces to the use of the presidential jets. I believe we have enough pilots, and I mean civilian pilots, civilian staff that can man it. So we should go into that one and ensure that the armed forces are not connected with the presidential jets in any manner. And then number two, if anybody such as this gentleman or any civil society does such a thing, a body such as the armed forces has got the Public Affairs Directorate, just call a press conference and then address the public on it, and that will end the matter. I believe in the 70s, I remember, in the 70s, there was a news publication to the effect that wives of members of the Supreme Military Council, if today's language we say the NPP, had gone on shopping in London with huge state resources.
Wow.
And when it turned out that it was not true, I remember a member of the SMC, General R.E.A. Kote, one of those shots,
bless her memory,
called the press conference, educated the public on it, and that ended the matter. So I believe the armed forces should not come in, and if they are coming in, they have a public directorate that can resolve it with a SEPA. You know, because just check the full name. Their main aim is to whip up public sentiment in them and in politics. And you are talking about a presidential jet issue. Everybody is interested, and if I cannot do it and somebody is doing it for me, I would encourage the person to do that. And when he steps overboard, I believe that there is a way to deal with him rather than ensuring that he's prosecuted. That's when
you don't like that one.
No. You are putting fear in such people. I'm not saying what he did is right, but I'm saying that
could have been a better way of dealing with it,
if somebody steals your pen, you don't shoot the person. Just as when somebody steals or kills a human being and you shoot the person, that one, you understand, yes.
Before the messages,
sorry, I disagree with that.
Okay, all right.
Don't say senior.
I disagree with that. Fakafi, you need to be a victim of some of the stories, okay?
The fake news,
to appreciate it. Wake up one day, and then your name beside the story that you didn't even see.
Well, it happened to me. I know how it feels.
Yes. You see, it's an obligation on the part of this prominent think tank to have verified before going on your Facebook page. And I think the armed forces did the right thing by not even inviting him, but rather reported him to the IGP.
The headmaster.
No, that is it, because they are responsible for public order. Okay, so it is fair that he's, but he's done a honorable thing.
All right.
In fact, when he did something like that to me, my lawyers wrote to the media house. The media house retracted and apologized to me. It ended there. I didn't pursue any legal case again. So he had done an honorable thing by withdrawing. The IGP would have asked him, you know it's not true. Withdraw it. It's incumbent on the president to either maybe further by
should I just invite him just come and drink some tea and have some biscuits?
Oh no.
All right, what do you think? Let's know. My policy is in God we trust, the rest we verify.
We verify.
All right, 055-556-1034. Fake news has been dealt a blow. Genuine news is coming in the form of Valerie with messages. Wow!
Yes, Carl.
Good
morning. Good morning. Yes. So the first one is from Lloyd, and Lloyd says that My lecturer for plant breeding, for instance, will attend lectures 4 times in a whole semester with excuses of attending other duties in other institutions, sometimes even outside Ghana, to earn extra money.
Wow.
Besides this, they don't do anything for free, including paying extra for thesis after paying fees to cover those. I always say Ghanaian lecturers are the most... Oh, I'm not going to say this one. But yes. And then Thompson's apology, okay, so yes, this is from... It says Thompson's apology is more insulting than the allegation itself. An apology to the armed force, but not the press and his family. He should be dealt with by law. And then this is from Boniface. Boniface says, good morning to you all, good morning. Government and the executive must put measures and mechanisms in place to address the Utah problems. The negatives effect go on to the students. A country that can pay lecturers well is so passionate to purchase a private jet. We blacks.
You see where the thing goes?
Yes, and then George Afani says that a beginning lecturer is asking for over $2,000 per month as basic salary. How much does the Ministry of State earn as basic? Most teachers are taking home less than 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
And then this one doesn't have a name. It says, please, my question is, where do the monies paid as fees in our universities go?
Any more?
Yep. And then this is from Dr. Bedi Kwadasueke, Police Ni Edrono. Thank God Asantehene urges media to promote consensus building to reduce political tension. But I am urging the government to address Utah concerns since students can't suffer. Hi to Reverend Eric Amwakwa of Co-Film.
Petition to remove.
Says, communicators and regular callers of the MPP. Oh no, I'm not going to read.
It's too long, eh?
No, it's too long.
Okay,
Keep it short. Yes. Good morning. And then this is from Olisen Williams. He says, this is the right time UTAC should go on strike because doesn't matter maybe your MPP or NDC issue. Any teachers or lecturers that don't cooperate with UTAC strike should be sanctioned. Government should address the salaries UTAC issues because we can't do without the teachers or lecturers. Ministers, lecturers, teachers should be receiving the same salaries and benefits. Okay, good morning, Kelvin, and that's all from this side.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, Valerie, for the messages. And you can follow us on YouTube, on Facebook for more. The streams are live. There's a conversation that's coming up in a short while, but I just want to hear what my panelists have to say about this. So the Fix the Country campaigners have filed a petition to remove the boss of the Electoral Commission over the SAL saga. Now, SAL stands for Santro Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi. These are areas that did not vote in the 2020 election, and Fix the Country campaigners have filed a petition for the removal of Jimesa, chairperson of the Electoral Commission, and other officers of the Commission in connection with the denial of the right of Santro Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi citizens to vote. So, according to Oliver Baka von Mauer, one of the conveners of the Fix the Country movement, it's in accordance with Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution and is signed by 46 members of the Fix the Country movement. There's going to be a big conversation on that issue right after this segment, but I just want your quick takes on this. I'll start with the lawyer with issues of petitions, and yeah, it's well within their right, isn't it? Yeah.
That is within their right, but at the same time, it is also within the right of the law that the Electoral Commission cannot be removed that way. You know, her position, conditions and services are akin to that of an appeal court judge in Ghana. And to that extent, we say that she can only be dismissed from office by a proven stated misbehavior.
Is that what happened with our former electoral commissioner?
Oh, yes.
That's what happened?
That one, yes. I mean, we don't want to go to that.
No, I want to go there. I just want to compare.
No, the two cannot be compared in any manner. In her case, she did some purchases which were completely wrong, not in her line to do. Yeah, so that is a different story.
What about this case?
This case, you are talking about people who did not exercise their franchise. Now you talk about why did that originate and how has the commission addressed that. It also fixed the country. What steps have they taken to ensure equity and fairness to the people of that area? And then suddenly you jump into the scene and say that this woman should be laid off. No, that can never be. But I believe that the reason why, if it is MPP, and I say MPP because it is MPP and NDC that are ruling the country, changing the batons all the time. If it is MPP in power, they have an issue with the electoral commissioner. Let me call her electoral commissioner, sorry. If it is NDC in power, it is the same thing. It's all because of the power given to the president to appoint the chairman of the electoral commission.
You think that should change?
No, completely. It should not be the case. I believe that if Ghana is to think so deep into how sensitive the position is, and then say you alter the rules to ensure that a disinterested entity such as the judiciary, because the judiciary is not interested in parliamentary affairs, executive affairs.
But they are also appointed by the president.
That is, we can go there later. It's also wrong. When you go to Kenya, if you want to be a judge, you appear before an interview panel. Not like Ghana. So it means there is something wrong with the constitution. But in the case of the EC, what I'm trying to say is that the Chief Justice can select about 5 members of the Court of Appeal based on those who are interested in
the job.
Very good. And then the judges of the senior courts of, the superior courts of judicature will, through secret balloting, elect one. So that when that person goes there, MPP, NDC cannot fault him.
Like election of a pope.
Like the election of a pope.
Okay.
You know, so we should learn all these things. So once the person goes there, it will be very, very difficult for anybody before the game starts to say that this person will take this way or the other. I believe it's a sensitive position, and we should begin to think through about that.
I like it.
Because if you put Jane Mensah there, coming immediately after Charlotte, Charlotte was saying, and you can see their postures, the two of them very juicy young ladies.
Juicy?
Now, I'm saying that because when you go back...
What the description?
They put up Charlotte Osei being the same, and then these people came to do the same thing, you understand. But I have always been thinking that when you go to the Court of Appeal proper, within the courtroom, you see judges, elderly, everything, age, you see, age goes with respect too, but young people as if they are competing with each other. In 1979, I saw Justice Kingsley Nyina, and then we all saw the man who left, the gray-headed man whose name I just forgotten. When you see such a person, you give him a certain form of dignity than a younger man or a younger woman. I may be wrong.
I still don't understand the juicy. I don't understand the
juicy. J-U-I-C. Why?
Yeah, that has to do with juice.
It's like somebody who is attractive to people instead of being attractive to the work he's going to do.
So what Charlotte is saying, Jane Mensah are juicy?
I'm saying that between the two, everybody listening to me would agree with me. But I'm looking at
I just want to be clear about the juiciness.
Don't wish to be clear on that, but just see it this way. When you go to the courtroom, do you know why judges, and for that matter, lawyers, wear wigs and gowns and those things?
Yes.
It is to hide their personalities, the personal things about you, so that it is the law we are dealing with. You don't look at a person and hate him, or look at a woman, so she's pretty. No.
I thought it was colonialism.
It's not colonial. When you read the history of it, it is to the effect that you hide the whole body, and then with the wig, looking like an elderly person, you are in the place of God. I believe that when you are appointing somebody to such a sensitive position, I'm not saying put there an ugly person, but I'm just saying that go to the Court of Appeal, let them give you somebody
who is not juicy.
And not juicy, because of where he's coming from, he will not be juicy, even if he's just like Charlotte Osei, and for that matter, Jane.
According to you, are juicy.
Please, let's move on.
I just don't understand it. I just want to understand it. That's all.
That's everybody.
I'll leave you the last word, Dr. Malcolm. You have any juicy comments first?
Please, I'll not be tempted in
You be tempted.
I wouldn't. That's unfortunate. I wish it doesn't happen again.
The petition.
For for what do you call it? A whole, badge of communities not having a representation in our parliament. It shouldn't happen again.
Okay.
That was a big mistake on the part of the EC. I think it wasn't well planned. They have explained on several occasions. It's unfortunate. But I also don't side with this movement, and I think the EC on a number of platforms have said they are doing everything possible to, address this issue. But until they do that, those people are not represented by anyone in Parliament, and that should not happen in the history of our parliamentary lawmaking in this country.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Professor John Kokumauto is Dean for the School of Graduate Studies at the UPS, the University of Professional Studies, Accra.
Yeah.
And Mr. Yao Anachi is an astute historian and on his way to court from here. Thank you very much. It's been a juicy conversation.
And describe the easy.
And even juicier is a conversation coming up next on a petition to remove the boss of the Electoral Commission. Thelma will be having a conversation with Oliver Barker Vomawa, who is the lead convener of the Fix the Country movement. Coming up right after this. This is your juiciest breakfast show. GTV Breakfast. Our hashtag is the juicy hashtag GTV breakfast. I'm going to go for some juicy awake. Looking forward to a juicy victory on Friday. You stay with us. Juiciest Kafui here.
Live from GBC Studio 1. This is the Breakfast Show. Coming live from the capital. This is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling healthy.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, let's take a peek.
I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Half of your plate should be vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what is written on the back?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn. So what's your pleasure than Votras, at that time of the morning? So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling healthy. And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast. So what's your pleasure than Votras, at that time of the morning?
You want it served buffet style, complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant.
Or room service.
We've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
with a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
presenters. You have blazed the trail. Ayiko, GTV, Ayiko, Pape, Ayiko, GBC, Ayiko, you go be a man. Ayiko, GBC, Ayiko. You have set the pace. You have blazed the trail. Ayiko, GBC, Ayiko, Vampire Square, Ayiko, GBC, Ayiko, Ayiko, GBC, Ayiko. You have set the pace, you have blazed the trail. Ayiko, GBC, Ayiko, GBC, you say, yeah,
Staying on, we are still massaging issues around the AFCON tournament, and of course, at least for Ghanaians, the sad defeat to Morocco yesterday. Not so for other people, but for Ghanaians, it was an unfortunate defeat, and we want the stars to shine brighter for the next game on Friday. But as we are talking about issues concerning AFCON, the issues surrounding the airing of the games and commentary on the games is also in sharp focus. Management of GBC, we're told, spent about 2 million Ghana cedis to get exclusive rights to broadcast the games, and they've given platforms to other channels to do same, but others going around the circle on the blind side to show the games, to run commentary on the games without the appropriate authorization. That did not go down well with management, and so some people have been arrested. Our Western Regional Acting Director at GBC, Mr. Alfred Hughes, is joining us to tell us about some arrests that have been made in that region concerning the unauthorized airing and telecast of the games. Good morning, Alfred, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Thelma. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. You're telling us that there was a collaboration between GBC and the police, and you visited some stations and made a number of arrests. How many channels are we talking about here?
On my list, we have 14 so far. 14, yeah.
14 channels, all within the Western Region area?
Yes, within the metropolis. But then, as a regional director for Western Region, we have other stations which are very distant. I mean, like I said, in Kugwa and other places. So I believe that, and I trust that there are other several stations beyond the Takoradi metropolis who are also illegally, without authorization, airing what GBC had exclusive rights. Yeah.
So 14 stations within the Sekedi Takoradi area alone, not in the whole of the Western region?
Not in the whole of the Western region.
Okay.
Yesterday, for instance, we tried as much as possible to conduct an exercise, a combined team of GBC Twin City Radio, operatives from the Police Intelligence Unit and the CID from the Western Regional Police Command conducted and embarked upon a search with a view and objective of climbing down on some of the stations who have no authorization and have actually breached and violated the guidelines surrounding the conduct of this transmission. So 5 of them, we first went to Good News, FM station at a vicinity in Takoradi called Escafa Bentham, number 1. Number 3. Then from there, we also went to Ahoto FM, Case FM, Max FM, and Rock FM. So yesterday we dealt with 5 different stations. But then the listeners will be very interested probably in what happened at Good News FM.
Okay, because you are telling us that there was a bit of a confusion there, wasn't it, when there was a confrontation between a member of staff and the team that had gone round to monitor?
Confusion is an understatement. It was actually chaos. Yeah. When we got there, I issued my ID card and introduced myself as the acting regional director of GBC Western Region. The lady we met at the front desk was obviously confused and was evasive, didn't want to give us information because she probably knew what they were doing. So when we asked for access into their studios, because they were, at that very moment we entered the station, they were airing the football match. They were running commentary. So they knew about it and they suspected where we had come from because I had already introduced myself. And they gave a safe resistance, prevented the security operatives from entering the studios and started cutting invectives. Some of them are very unprintable. But what I would like listeners to know, viewers to know, is they called the security operatives armed robbers and started taking GBC to the cleaners, calling us all sorts of names. What actually got the security men very angry is when they held us hostage. I mean, civilians hold security men hostage, including myself, for about 45 minutes. So
they held you hostage. Explain that to us. So what? Yeah, they locked the doors and refused to open it for you to depart?
The main door. They locked the main door. Yes,
Alfred, are you still with us?
Yes, I can hear you. They locked the main door to the entrance of the station and all the exits. Tom, I can't hear you now.
We can hear you fine, and I'm just listening to your account of this near hostage situation you are describing.
The flash door, it is a glass door to the main station, and prevented us from taking them out. So we had to use another route, scale some walls, and get out of the place. And they were taken to the police station and put behind bars.
You scaled walls to get out of the premises. It almost sounds like a Hollywood movie.
Yes, call it a Rambo-style movie, and you will not be far from wrong.
So these people were arrested, and they are in police custody as we speak?
Yes. As I left the police station around 11 p.m., they were still behind bars. And they were going through the processes, either for them to be taken to court or for them to be bailed. I wouldn't be able to know because the leader of the team, Chief Inspector Pobi, will be in the best position to know. We are going to continue the exercise today and try to clamp down on the rest of the either 9 stations who we have incontrovertible evidence that they are airing the tournament without any authorization.
Alfred, do we have word from the other side? Because you've narrated quite vividly what your experiences have been. Because we are all about fairness and credibility, have you spoken to the other side? Has management reached out to you with a statement or an explanation as to why the scenes you are describing happened?
I want to say the other side. What specifically do you mean?
Because you went into a premises to monitor adherence to certain guidelines, and that was not being done. And the people there attacked you by what you're telling us, and it ended up in the police station. Has the other party also made a statement? When they went to the police station, they must have also told their side of the story. And we have a responsibility to represent every voice in this fracas.
In fact, when we went to them, I, as the GBC official, actually told them what they have done. And all of them admitted that they had actually done the wrong thing, but then they didn't want to report, were resisting the invitation to the police station. And for the statement that they wrote, I am not privy to it because that was taken under the supervision of Chief Inspector Pobi, who is the man who has actually been given directives by the Western Regional Police Command and Accra to take down the statements of all these people who are suspected to have violated or breached the rules and regulations guiding the conduct of this transmission of the tournament. Yes.
Alfred, so you're trying to guard this exclusive rights of GBC, which management, you're telling us, spent about millions of Ghana cedis to purchase, right? And you want to bring the matches to all Ghanaians. So why are you in this fight against people who are also bringing the matches to all Ghanaians? The people they are transmitting to are also Ghanaians. So why the fight? Why the pursuit of these people who have unauthorized use of the tournament?
GBC have invested, not you. I think I heard you mention cities, but to the best of my knowledge, this investment by GBC to CAF is in dollars. It's over $1 million or more. It has time to be corrected though. And again, there are certain rights and there are certain administrative processes that you need to do in order to have the privilege of airing it on your station. What is very irritating is that as they are airing, they are also advertising their own product. Do a lot of advertisements on the, what do you call it, during the time of commentary. And we have a system here, led by me, to monitor all the stations and to record audios, jingles, LPMs. So we have incontrovertible evidence to the point that this, and any time we went to every station we actually play part of that commentary audio to them. And they actually admitted their fault, but they resisted either arrest or invitation to the police station. I have the audio here, and we have kept it exclusively, and we've also copied it to the CID to continue with the investigations which is being carried on.
Yes,
so,
Alfred, I just needed to establish the fact that you had some engagement and you had opened the platform for people to come on board to get the rights to also broadcast it, and these people have not done so. So that's why I'm asking these questions, so that you can explain that there's an opportunity for others to air the matches, to run commentary on the matches with GBC's approval. But these people have not done so, and that's why I've asked that question. I think you sent us a video. Let's have a look at the video, and then I'll come back so we wrap up very quickly because we are fast running out of time. Okay, I'm told that the video is still being uploaded to the system. But what are your final comments? You intend to pursue this as the games go on, as the tournament progresses?
Yes, of course. I am a direct representative of the Director General here in the Western region. And we've received directives from management in Accra to monitor closely all radio stations which have not complied with the directives. And we have also received information from management about a number of stations. I have been in constant touch with George Lumute, who is leading this course, together with other management staff, the DG himself. So we are privy to the stations who have done the right things. In fact, about 3 or 4 stations called me, one from Asekregwa, one from Target FM, one from one other station, I don't quite remember on top of my head, to seek permission, and I asked them to call George Lumute to ask for the modality.
Okay, so those engagements have been had, and so this will continue until the tournament ends, right?
Yes, of course.
Right, that's all that time will permit us to engage you on.
Stations too, yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Alfred. Alfred Hughes is the acting Western Regional Director for the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. They've been engaging in monitoring and inspection of premises With regards to airing the AFCON matches, GBC bought exclusive rights to show all the games and run commentary across its television and radio networks, 18 radio stations across the country. But some recalcitrant persons have not gone through the correct approval procedures, and they are taking a chunk of their, biting some of the pie, and GBC is not for it. So a key caution from management of GBC to the general public and any media institution that is interested in telecasting or broadcasting any of the AFCON games to do the right thing, approach management and get the right authorization. I've been joined at the table, two icons in the sports fraternity. I'll start with the lady. Rosalind Amu is a sports analyst. Thank you so much, Rosalind, for joining us this morning. Thank you and welcome to the table.
Thanks for having me.
Great. I think it's the first time I'm having you at the table. Well, Happy New Year to you too. I hope you've had a swell break from the previous year. Of course, Benjamin Willie Graham is also at the table, award-winning sports commentator, sports journalist. Also at the table, Willie, good morning.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Okay. let me leave this here. So we are going to be talking about AFCON and then the game that we played. Of course, Ghana's shaky start to the tournament. Not great news for the camp of the Black Stars. But we've just heard an interview with the acting Western Regional Director of GBC, monitoring compliance to the guidelines for airing the AFCON matches. I just wonder if you would have some quick thoughts to make.
Yeah, I mean, very, very quick one. See, sometimes my colleagues, we on platforms, and I get disappointed when they do these things. And I'm happy Rosalind is here. 2018, we worked on the Women's AFCON, and we had a training from the CAF marketing team that told us directly that if you're a station and you don't have access to the match, you don't even try as much as possible to even get it. Listen, the opening ceremony, a colleague of mine who was part of the training deliberately went to the stadium knowing that what he was doing was illegal, hid his camera somewhere and was still filming the game. Some of them had their accreditation taken out from them. Some were not even allowed to even come to the stadium again. So it's deliberate. They know that what they're doing is wrong. But for them, they don't care. Let me tell you, even digital rights is equally sold separately. During the Olympic Games, there was an athlete who, after her race, decided to post the event on her Twitter page. Do you know what happened to her? Her tweet was pulled down. Okay? These things are monitored by these international bodies. So I don't know why we would want to do this to ourselves. You're going to pay money. Somebody is going to acquire. Just come. I want to have access. I want to have a bite. Okay, do it this way, do it that way. Move. But some people are not ready for that, and they want to illegally do that, and rather sit back and play the victim role as though somebody does not want them to have access.
So to get authorization to be a part of transmission is not going to cost money. Is that what you're saying?
No, it would definitely, because
yes,
you must
so
go
perhaps
and pay.
they are avoiding the cost.
But again, production for AFCON, World Cup, European Champ, it's expensive. Football or sports right is expensive. Okay, let's just accept this fact and then we begin to move on.
Let me pick Rosalind's thoughts because we have to talk about the Black Stars.
Well, I think that for many people, they think we still live in the past where we could do things for free. That, we want to reach out to as many people as possible, and so we are tapping illegally into it. They know it's illegal, and yet people do it. Even when you go to the stadium and you are giving accreditation, they would ask you, are you print, are you broadcast? Depending on what you do, if you don't require to get the accreditation, they would not get it. And I remember, in the AFCONs that I have covered, 2010, 2015, people are picked from the stands because they go illegally transmitting and running commentary. And we have press officers who go around. So once you are spotted, whether you are in the stands or you are in the media tribune, you are just picked and accreditation is revoked. I think that is a consortium. The days where things were done for free on behalf of the nation is far gone. Because in the past, GBC would, because of UTNA and all those things, would acquire the rights and other people could do it. But now people have commercialized their radio stations. You are doing business because as you run the commentary, you are asking people to come and advertise. You are getting people to come and sponsor. And so I think the right thing to do is to sit down with GBC and negotiate and pay so that you have the rights. But it's wrong for us to be doing that. It's more prevalent in the hinterlands, where people think that, oh, as for here, the laws always apply in the big cities, not in the small towns. But I think that it shouldn't be, and we should, I mean, we all want to enjoy it. No matter where we are, we want to follow the game, but let's do the right thing.
So GBC is well within its rights to go after these people. And
you remember 2008, even for you to get the right to sell a paraphernalia, you had to go and get the right from them to be able to reproduce the brands for you to be able to sell. Once you don't have the rights, you can't do it.
You can't do it. Does Ghana have the right to the AFCON Cup after 40 years? 1982, some of us were not around, so we've probably never seen the Black Stars win a major tournament. This year, 2022, is 40 years since Ghana won the cup last, and we haven't won it again. Yesterday, the campaign got off not to a very brilliant start for the Stars. They lost all 3 points at stake when Morocco scored that late goal to claim all those crucial 3 points. The Atlas Lions, they really were roaring last night. But I wonder what your thoughts will be. I'll start with you, Rosalind. Your general impressions about the performance. The statistics did not seem to favor the Black Stars, but is it a true reflection of what the game the boys put up was?
For me, looking at the preparation we had, I think they did a good show. They put up a good performance yesterday for an opening game. They hadn't had a very good training section. I mean, the last time they met was to play a qualifier and some few friendly games. When they went to Qatar, they had challenges getting all the players, especially those playing in Europe, arriving on time. And so I knew it was going to, comparatively, you have a team like Morocco that have been consistent, that have their players all playing mostly in Belgium and in France and in Germany, and they had the time to assemble on time. There haven't been any massive change to the team. We have had quite, I mean, this is relatively a new Black Stars team. But for me, I always say that much as it's unpleasant and uncomfortable, Black Stars have never had a good start to any competition.
They've never had a good start. So it's history repeating
itself.
Yes,
I mean, 2010, let me just give you some...
I'll come back to those statistics, but we are going to jet off to Cameroon, and we want to just figure out what the mood there is like for the team and the people who are with them. Michael Akule is our correspondent in Cameroon, and he's monitoring events for us. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Thelma. How are you?
I'm very well. I wonder how you lot are doing after yesterday's loss.
I don't know. It was a bit difficult moment for us after yesterday's defeat, because the target has always been to win the African Cup of Nations, like you rightly said. The last time Ghana made that achievement, some of us were not born. I didn't know where I was when Ghana won the 1982 African Cup of Nations. So I have been itching to see how any of our captains will lift the AFCON trophy, and then it will be on social media. The Black Stars are champions of Africa. I've never read that anywhere. So that is what we're all wishing for. But unfortunately, the campaign started off on a jerky note when we lost against Morocco. So it hasn't been rosy, it hasn't been easy for us here, but hey, there are 2 more games. And fortunately for the competitors, I mean the teams in the competition, this time around, it is not, the qualification is not only meant for the top 2 teams. If you're able to qualify, if you're able to finish with superior point or goals advantage, you are likely to qualify for the next stage. So
immediately the mathematics begins, Michael. If this person wins and this person draws and another person loses, then and Ghana beats that person and the other team doesn't do well or score 2 goals, then we proceed. But how do the players feel about that? You are closer to them than we in Accra. What's the mood like for them?
I don't know if I will be very I'll be very good in clearing this misconception that Ghanaians are always good when it comes to mathematics during tournament. But you know, so far as the competition is a league format, the calculations start right before kickoff. So as for the calculations, it is part of the game. So we are not
AFCON arithmetic.
Yes, we are not just that. But talking about answering your second question regarding the mood of the players, I was in the mix zone. You know, the mix zone is where the players immediately they are done with the game and then they are moving out to join their bus to their hotels. That is where they pass. I was in the mix zone. And on a normal day after victory, you see all the players who love to speak with you as a press officer. But this time around, it was very difficult for them to put their thoughts together. They feel disappointed, feel let down because after speaking to Captain Andrea, he was saying that the time they were just unlucky. They were just unlucky when they considered the late goal. I mean, if you look at when the goal came, they were just unlucky to have considered the goal at that time. So apart from him and Joseph Pinson, all the players declined interview, not harshly, but you could see from their body language that they were struggling to put words together to grant interview to the media. So that one alone tells you that they feel disappointed. And from the footballers, from the players to the supporters, and then the journalists here, everybody felt disappointed because if you look at Ghana's performance in the last 3 games preceding the game against Morocco, I think yesterday's game was a bit an improved version of the previous series. So we were thinking that since we have improved, we could have held the Moroccans on to at least pick a point and ensure that the next 2 games we account for Gabon and Morocco and qualify. But
I bet that the road to a pickup for a comeback is starting almost immediately. At least for Coach Milovan, we saw him in the stands in the game between Comoros and Gabon. So I'm guessing that for the team and the handlers, the work starts or is back on track almost immediately to get Ghana into an appreciable place in the standings.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if I spoke to Jonathan Mensah, he's one of the senior players in the team. He didn't play, he didn't have a bite in yesterday's game. And after the game, I spoke with him, and he was saying that I asked how they were going to put themselves together and start planning for the Friday's game against Gabon. It was like the immediate plan or the immediate task is to go and watch their game against Morocco, where they fell short, and then try to right the wrongs, and then watch the game against Gabon. Yesterday's game against Gabon, we saw the Black Stars handlers, Coach Milo, watching the game between Gabon and Comoros. So it tells you that even though we lost, the plans to come back on track started just after the final whistle of yesterday's game. So we can't afford to be eliminated at this stage in a group that housed Morocco, Gabon, and Comoros, with all due respect to the remaining 2 countries. I think Ghana should be able to account for Gabon and Comoros to qualify for the next stage.
Right, Michael, thank you so much. And we'll leave you to return to your duties, and we'll get back to you when the need arises to catch more on what the Black Stars are up to ahead of their game on Friday. So be safe out there, because some teams are already recording several COVID cases. So do keep safe, and our regards to the players when you have the chance.
Thank you very much. As for the COVID test, I have done about 4 or 5 already, excluding the one I did at
I bet. So keep safe out there, and our thoughts are still with our national team. Michael Okule is our correspondent in Cameroon. We are talking about the shaky start that the Black Stars have had in the AFCON tournament. 1 game played by the team already. Next game against Gabon on Friday. 1-0 against Morocco. What can Ghana do to better its chances at the table? Rosalind Amo and Benjamin Willie Graham are helping us understand the more technical details of the game that you and I may have missed because we just want the ball in the right net. Not like my goddaughter who was celebrating a goal that was not hacked. So Rosalind has said that it was a better performance. Michael has reiterated same. I wonder if you would agree, Graham.
See, I think that as a country, when we talk about bringing home the cup, I'm sure we know what we're supposed to do to achieve that aim. And if you look at countries that almost always win the cups, go back to the same Black Stars we were talking about in the past. You need proper planning. And for me, planning is key. It was 16 countries. We struggled to win the cup. Now it's 24. And still we believe that it is our birthright that every AFCON we have to come with a cup.
Living on past glories, you're saying?
The fact remains that football has moved to science and data. It is no more as the talent that we normally have around. We have talented players. Currently, listen, we have the best talent on the continent. But when it comes to playing as a unit, we don't have it. Now, if you go back and check the qualification, you see the number of players Ghana have used over the last couple of how many qualifications? Over 80 players.
So a revolving door of players, so no time to build a cohesion is what you're saying.
Yes.
So you don't see Milovan and his team pulling a surprise?
I was going to give an example. Milovan was part of the, in fact, it was the coach when Ghana went to the final in 2010. Now, go back to 2008 when we hosted the AFCON. That team that got eliminated by Cameroon had played from 2006, 2007, 2008. And even that part of that team went to 2010. But some had lost from injuries and all those things. And we went back to the basics.
And they were replaced with under 20 the world-winning captain.
Yes. And so we have Adia, Ajimambedu, Abiy Mohammed, Andre Ayew, and they were core. So they formed the core of the Black Stars from 2010 up to 2017. And I'm saying that from 2017 to date, we had lost that foundation. So the best thing to do from that moment, we had to start building again. But all we did was to just believe that it's the same Black Stars, everything will be fine. I'm saying that over 80 players, even more, have been used for their qualification to the AFCON, the World Cup qualified, and now the tournament, and check the new players. As many as 17 players are playing their very first AFCON. Very first AFCON, 17.
So you think, Rosing, do you think the newness or the lack of experience contributed to the Black Stars' defeat in this first game?
Of course, they don't have the experience. Morocco used their experience to beat us. I mean, we had the determination, the zeal, the players had the zeal to win at all costs. But you realize that they don't have that exposure and experience of holding on to the very end. I mean, look at the way we conceded that goal. We realized that the Moroccans were piling pressure on us, and so the best thing was for us to get the ball off that goal area and probably battle its midfield or let it go back and forth. But for almost 5 or 6 minutes until the goal was conceded, they were there. And
they still just kept passing the ball instead of just volleying it to the other side.
I am looking at the team that went to the final in the 2015 AFCON. I can count the number of players who are still in the team. But look at the Moroccans. The Moroccans were eliminated at that competition. The Algerians that we beat is the same team that came back and won the last AFCON. The Algerians we beat in 2015 at the group stage are the team that won the next AFCON. And they are back. So football is all about consistency and getting to know one another and knowing that, I mean, I remember those times, 2008, right up to from the 2006 World Cup, right up to 2008, 2010. We could say that when we have our starting 11, the players know what to do without much direction from the coach.
You think we don't have that now? And do you think we have, the team that we have now is capable of putting fear in opponent, you know?
No, Black Stars are not as fearful as they used to be, at least for now. Nobody fears the Black Stars. If you want to even talk about the favorites, the top 5 favorites from the 24 team, Black Stars are not among the top 5. It's because of our performances, because of the newness of our team. I mean, we don't have any playmaker who is in his prime. Most of them are at the twilight, especially Dede and Co. They are at the twilight of their careers. And much as we don't want to know the truth, we don't build a team overnight. We don't build a team overnight. You may do very well, but you don't build a team overnight. In 2015, the team that won was a build-over from the 2014 World Cup team. When we went to Equatorial Guinea, it was the team that had gone to the World Cup. Majority of them were the players that had gone to the World Cup and who did not do well. But they were retained and they went and they did well. And then they went to the final. The team that we lost to in the final in 2015 were teams that had played 2 finals.
So they had more experience, and you're saying that the lack of experience contributed to our loss.
And now we don't have a team. I mean, individually we have good players, but I think that it is going to take a while for them to
the team building exercise that we should have done long ago, it looks like we are now going to do it because the inconsistency, even in the technical handlers. I was coming to that. We only just recently brought in Milovan Rajvac, and we are expecting to do almost the impossible, as some would say, to put the team in good shape. To what extent can we blame him, considering the length of time that he's had to put
every
this
product
team together?
goes through 6 stages. You have the development, introduction, growth, maturity, saturation, and decline.
Where are we, the Black Stars?
We are decline. Because at the time that we're doing well, there was no competition. Because the likes of Egypt, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and the rest were also struggling to actually come up. So Ghana was actually out there. By 2015, 17, those countries
had matured.
That matured, but they had relaunched and repackaged themselves, and so there was enough competition. So their competition dwarfed us. So at the end of the day, we're struggling to come out as a product for people to see how good we were. That is where we are. So currently, I'm giving you statistics. For the last 5 years or so, it's been difficult for Ghana to be the first 10 countries on the African rankings.
The best would be
the best 10 on the rankings. It's been difficult. Morocco, Algeria, name them.
Egypt.
We have been struggling to beat these countries. But then, some years ago, it was easy for Ghana to beat these countries because those times they were also struggling. Remember we beat Egypt 6 here? Remember it was easy for us to beat Morocco and the rest. It was easy because those were the times when the team was consistent because you could actually close your eyes and name the first 11 of the Black Stars and say that this game is a done deal. Like I said, the chopping and changing is our bane currently. Because if Andrea Ayew says that I wasn't feeling well, but my teammates needed me around, and so I had to play, I'm sitting back and I'm asking a question. So,
did he say that?
Yeah. He said he wasn't feeling well, but the team needed him. So he had to be there.
But don't we all make sacrifices
it's the same thing.
As leaders of teams?
Let me give you an example. It happened to the father, right?
Let's not even talk about the father. Let's talk about Asamoah Gyan. When we went to Equatorial Guinea, I like to use recent examples. You know, before the Algeria game, he had been diagnosed to be down with malaria and all that, and so he had missed the first game, and they were not sure. But he said he wanted to play. They brought him on, and he scored that goal against Algeria that saved Ghana and sent us into the next round of the competition. Sometimes that happens, but I also said that, look, if you have other players who can do better, we always said that, look, for Asamoah Gyan, because of what he meant to the team, he was one of our top strikers, and so a half-fit Asamoah Gyan probably would be better than any of the young strikers, and he came on and he proved it. But what I'm saying is that if you want to build a team, and it's a competition, it's a league format, you need to find a way of going around it. You need to also get the players who probably would come off and say that, look, we are so hungry to go through it. You need experience, but you also need those who can deliver. Yesterday, I didn't say it was like we were only playing because we wanted to do it. So we were not hungry enough. Is that what you're saying? We were hungry. It is the hunger that drove them. But technically, if you put Morocco and Black Stars together, I mean, side by side, I think the Moroccans were ahead of the Black Stars. So it all comes back to coaching. There are some who think the substitution came rather late. So towards the last 7 to 10 minutes of the game, and then we saw Milovan making some changes. If they had come earlier, would it have made any difference?
If my coach tells me that the team that had won were lucky, I'm sitting back and I'm trying to understand the statement. I won't really believe that he never said that, because if you say that you are in control of the team or you're in control of the game after the time the goal came in control, and then the goal comes and you are still in control, and at the end of the day you lose the game and you are telling me that you are still in control because the other team was lucky, I don't understand that technical explanation from Milovan Rajvac, in the sense that if it's about speed, we've got wingers. Ishaku is there. I mean, this is a young guy who is ready to run. We've got, listen, talent, we don't have a problem.
We're not lacking in the talent department. So what's the same?
That's what I'm saying, that if you have 17 of your players playing their very first AFCON, they would lose concentration, and the tournament, the event would sometimes even overshadow their performance, because he's thinking, wow, I'm playing at the AFCON. If you're a young player and you're playing the tournament, you would obviously have the same issue. But my issue is that, yes, we're going to talk about calculation. I have said that whether Black Queens, Black Stars, Starlet is the same. It runs through it's like in our DNA. But we need to get away from that, because the moment you get into a group that you're not able to recover, that's the end of you. Okay. The good thing is that this AFCON, the third best placed teams will qualify. So if we are third,
there's a little room.
So that depends on your
who beat that, and that's
who scores more goals than the next person.
You are not just the third, but you should be the third best loser. In the team. So it's like the first two automatically go through, but when they need to decide the next 4 teams that will join them, it means that among the 4 teams, you should be the best among the 4. So it will depend on your points build up. It will depend on your goals and all that. And we shouldn't put ourselves. I always say that perhaps we need to, now that we have a technical director at the FA, we need to sit down and be truthful to ourselves and say that, look, when we go out to play in those competitions, we are not going with a wild expectation of winning. We are doing it to rebuild and make sure that we are going to be more consistent. It happened to Algeria, it happened to Tunisia, it happened to Morocco, even Egypt.
Yeah. So we should be honest with ourselves that we can't win this.
We can't. I mean, for me, if we win it, that is football. But my expectations are not that high.
Are not that high.
I have seen the Black Stars get that close and losing. I've seen many national teams get to the final and losing. That I have decided that, look, personally,
we hosted and did.
Apart from that, I was in the stands when we lost in Angola, when we lost in Equatorial Guinea. I mean, Thelma, it's heartbreaking when you get to that point. And so for me, I think that
let's go through the stats from yesterday's game. So I'm looking at 12 shots for Morocco against 5 for Ghana. 3 on target for Morocco. We had 2 shots on target according to the stats that I have before me. Possession 38-62, 213 passes for Black Stars as against 341 for Morocco, and they have a 77% accuracy against the Black Stars 63%. So not much difference there in terms of accuracy of passes. 21 fouls apiece for the 2 sides. A yellow card for Morocco, 2 for Ghana. No red cards, 1 offside for Morocco, 4 corners for Morocco and 5 for Ghana. Now, is it a true reflection of what actually happened on the field? And which players made the game for you?
I think when you go into a game where 5 key players of the Moroccans are tested positive and so couldn't play, 5, and their coach tells you that, well, they know that Ghana is a good country or whatever, and so Ghana is going to beat them. He deliberately throws this jab at you, gives you that confidence to think that because 5 key players are out, it's easy for you to riot over them. It's a bait. So they knew that you come into the game with that mindset that they don't have 5 key players, so I'm going all out. In going all out, you get tired because they're going to hold you, they're going to defend their blocks, their lines, and get you running until you're tired. By the time the goal came, Rosalie is here. Our players were tired. They were tired because you've done almost everything and they had just blocked you. So now they are putting pressure on you because they know that they've gotten.
So they just waited it out.
It's a plan.
It's the strategy to wait it out. So let them wear themselves out and then.
So what was our strategy? So when the coach said that, what was the strategy? You also went into the game thinking that, oh, they don't have 5 key players, so their rear guard is open. They're going to.
But you don't know that was Milovan's mind thought at the moment because we saw some sterling performances from some of them.
No, but if you that's why we are saying that individually we are good
but
individually. It's not a team. Morocco played as a team. Algeria won the AFCON because they were a team.
Even Cameroon.
You need
Burkina Faso, even though they lost.
Winning tournament is not about individual brilliance. Sometimes, yes, in the difficult moment, one person must stand out, but it must be a cohesive thing. It's a plan. So we move together, we come together.
What worked for us, guys? It seemed we talked about a lot of what what did not go right, but what worked. We didn't get the 3 points.
What has worked?
Well, for us, once you
because
didn't, if you had
those
drawn,
then become the basis to
if
build on.
If you had earned a point, then you would say that
something worked.
Something worked.
So nothing worked for you. Both of you.
They should go back to the
Which player stood out for you?
I think Paintil.
Paintil did. Yeah. I was impressed with him for a first timer. I thought that Amate also did quite well until we conceded.
Until that goal.
Yeah. For me, it's difficult.
Amate, it's difficult to name anyone else.
I mean,
some say
Kamal did well. As for the captain, it is expected of him, so I would not say that he did anything. I mean, I wouldn't name him. No, but for me, for a captain who has been, I believe this is
seventh AFCON.
Seventh AFCON as a teenager, and you've risen through it. For me, I shouldn't be. I mean, once you do it, it's expected of you.
The experience that you talk of, it has it because he's been there. He's played the AFCONs a number of times. Is he inspirational enough to pull the others along, especially the 17 new entrants to the squad?
He should be able to share his experiences of playing in a first-time AFCON with them. Amate's first AFCON was 2015 at Equatorial Guinea. He should be able to share it with them as well to encourage them and to inspire them. So for me, I think that we don't have to do a lot of, post-mortem of what has happened. What should they be doing?
That's why I'm asking. Are there strengths that they can build on?
Yes, of course. I mean, they are able to hold on, and what we haven't been able to see is they are working as goals, working for the goals.
Because it seems that the defense is quite strong, but the forward is a bit deficient, right?
The midfield, the transition from midfield to attack, that has become our issue. They would have to find a way of putting it together. I don't know what strategy Milo is going to use for the next game, because you will need to get your first point to be able to have any realistic chance of surviving. It has happened in 2010, it happened in 2015. We are hoping that they will recover and do better in 2022 at the 2021 AFCON. Otherwise, this thing about go win it, and sometimes we put undue pressure on the players. We know the
40 years. We
know 40 years, but the point is that nobody is waiting for you to be there. When you won the fourth one, you thought everybody was waiting for. Everybody is also targeting. And you were there. And
you said it's 40 years for Ghana. It is 46 years for Morocco. The last time
46 years for Morocco.
The last time we won was back in 1970.
The Black Stars are still struggling.
Yeah. So 46 years wait for Morocco to win the AFCON.
In my lifetime, the Black Stars has not won anything. What do you think about the game yesterday? Rosling and Benjamin are here trying to explain some of the technicalities to us. Kaf is at the screen and he's going to read some of your comments and messages. Our WhatsApp number 055556134. And Kaf, over to you.
Throw me the ball first. Thank you.
There you go.
This is from Shaka Salty from Kaswa. I love the name. Asamoah shouldn't have been left out from this squad. Even if he's not fit, he can put him for 10 minutes to the end of the match and he'll prove himself because he's a dangerous player in the 18-yard box. He's not panditry on Super Sports.
So he's actually, his jersey number has been given to someone else. So
the number 3, Ghana can't boast of a first 11 for many years, and now it's a shame. So that is a message from Shata Salty. I love the name, Shata Salty. Some of you are having suggestions about who should be dropped, but me, I'm keeping everything positive. Good morning. Although we lost the match yesterday, we should not discourage our players. Let's encourage and pray for them. There's room for improvement. Ghana's Black Stars is the only team we have now. Let's hope for a brighter future. The sky is the limit. Go Black Stars, go high, and then you give out Happy New Year shouts to your friends. So I love that. Thank you very much. I like that kind of positive message. There is no need for the coach. You think that he shouldn't start sending people because they are not good goal scorers. Charlie Matavidis. The 30 million coaches are talking. I don't want to talk, but you talked. You were so angry with Milovan. You can boldly say that he doesn't know anything about football. Does that mean that without the number 9, number 10, others can't do anything? You were not surprised that Morocco won. What happened was the same thing that happened in 2018. Look, Ghana, We always start slow. That's how we are laid back people.
We should change.
We give you one defeat or one draw, and then second game we put up. Then we step. That's our nature. That's our nature, man. No, we are cool.
Sometimes it's the last game.
We're good morning. Hashtag juicy GTV breakfast. Yes, we had a bad day AFCON yesterday, but surely we will qualify from the group stage. No two ways. That's it.
From 2019.
Yes.
We qualified from the group stages.
Yes.
Okay, you qualified, no problem.
Thank you. There are only three things in soccer: win, draw, and lose. We may end up experiencing all such outcomes, but the ultimate goal is carrying the trophy. Exactly. Our stars need more encouragement. They're all we got for now, you know. That's Mena Hunter Franco Bab of New Edubiase.
What's that?
Yeah.
Is it?
Mena Hunter Franco, that's his name.
Like a whole district. Yeah, so I like the vibe. You think we need to raise a new team altogether and prepare them well for the future instead of the ad hoc measures? Thank you for your messages coming in. Why was Wakasu left out of the game? You are asking. Well, I don't know. Why was he left out? Let's ask Milo. Let's call Milo and ask him why Wakasu was. Do you know why Wakasu was left out?
Well, I mean, some of the players,
William,
could be injury, a little bit of a knock.
I mean, COVID or something.
No explanation actually given. So we
explanation.
Yeah, we can't.
Jonathan and Wakasu.
Yeah. Do you think the coach was kind of playing for a draw and then we got stunned?
I think that he went all out. You know, I mean, your first game, you don't want to go play defensive. You need to really go all out there. You see, I saw a game between Zimbabwe and Senegal, and I kind of loved the game because, see, Zimbabwe against Senegal with Mane, Koulibaly and all those, used to guy in Ghana.
And they still showed them.
He had to take a penalty.
Last minute, they still showed
at 4th minute.
Yeah. It's a one-money show for Senegal. One guy. Okay, just on Ken from Adan. In fact, the coach, if you're going to make changes, why should you make the changes in the last 5 minutes? Triple change, 5 minutes.
I think it's a canker for most of our coaches. We saw it with many of them. They always like to wait to the very end. I don't know why they do that. But for me, if you know the player is as good as coming on in time, you better bring him to be the difference. Because sometimes psychologically, you bring them in and they are not ready, and it also adds up to the mess of the team.
Yeah, it happened. Only Ghana Social came in late and scored a winning goal for Man United. 2 minutes. 2 goals.
But not every team is. But excuse me, sir. Not every team is Manu. So not every team is Manu.
And now it's all about signs.
I'm just telling you that
it can happen.
It can happen.
All right. Osofo is coming in with a comment. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, Black Stars have disappointed us yesterday. Couldn't even eat. Even the Osofos are not eating. Even the Osofos. Oh, ye Osofo of little face. Oh, you couldn't eat. But for one thing, I'll tell them is that they should try as much as possible to do their homework well. Osofo has faith. I think it shall be well next time. I still remain Reverend Father Ima, watching life of Osofo. Over to you. Can you catch it?
Yep. Me, I'm a safe pair of hands.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for joining us. Benjamin and Rose, what would you say would be the best strategy for us going forward? Because there's still some hope that in the next 2 games, if we put up a better performance than we did yesterday, perhaps we could progress. If, like you're saying, cautious optimism, perhaps. So what would get it right for us? And the players, are we okay with the 11 that we have? Some on the bench that should be on the field. What strategies could we employ?
Well, I think that Milo called out some players, took them to Qatar, assessed them before he decided on his final team. So he knows the players that he has and what they can do for him to win the competition. At this moment, Black Stars is not a fearful Black Stars. Nobody fears us. They may respect you, but they would come at you with the boldness as if to tell you that, look, we are not afraid of your previous records, because they are not seeing the regular stars. And don't forget that these days, we don't have some of our players playing in the big leagues. And so that is also a point.
So we miss some of our old stars, like Asamoah.
I mean, unfortunately, we don't have them. And so for me, I don't like to dwell on the spilled milk. I'd rather preserve what I have that I can make a good meal out of. And so Milo would have to, if it's a 1-goal project that he wants to embark on at this tournament, he would have to tighten up his defense
get them to get those goals. Because now that you have lost, the pressure will be on you to ensure that you recover and stay in the competition. Gabon will come running at you because they have. The thing is that they don't have, apart from Pierre Aubameyang, you don't have very known players who's tested positive for COVID. Yes, and you don't have very known players among the squad. Okay. But they are a team that has been going around since 2015, and so you have to come up and ensure that you come up with a strategy that will get you the wins. Does Liverpool have the right tactics for the games ahead? And can we end the drought?
The good thing is that you said they watched the Gabon Comoros game. Those are next games coming up. It's good to watch. He's got a video analyst around. They should map out the strategies. They should know who to start and what time to make those substitutions, if you like. But I think that the other games coming up, I wouldn't say it's going to be a walk in the park performance for the Black Stars, but I believe that something can be done.
Something can be done. So, we lost yesterday, but 2 more games for us to redeem the image of the Black Stars. It is within the powers of the players and the technical handlers to make this possible. Put a smile on the faces of all Ghanaians. Let's cheer the fans on to victory. Benjamin Willie Graham, award-winning sports journalist and commentator, has been at my table. Willie, thank you so much. Rosalind Amo, also an iconic sports analyst, also has been helping us. Thank you, Rosie, for being a part of our morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a pleasant day. When you leave the set, the breakfast show still continues. Valerie is getting ready to warm her yellow couch with a super music producer, and you do not want to miss this next conversation after the break.
You have set the pace, you have blazed the trail.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome to my side of the breakfast table. Like T rightly said, the warmer side and the yellow couch. So today we are going to be spending our time with a sound engineer. So this guy that I'm going to be talking to has worked with a number of artists. Ghanaian artists, Nigerian artists, like he cuts across the globe and he's amazing. He's worked with lots of people. So today we're going to get up close and personal with Zodiac. Apart from the fact that he's a sound engineer, he's some sort of artist, a music director, sort of. He doubles as a fashionista. He's a fashion icon, actually. So we're going to be talking to Zodiac, find out everything about him, more that we didn't know, and find out what being a sound engineer really is like, what a day in a sound engineer looks like. So welcome, Zodiac.
Thank you very much.
First time having you here on the couch. Okay, so you know what we do here, right? As a amambre, you have to take off the glasses small so that my audience can see your face.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, Ghana.
Okay, so is it back on?
Yeah.
Righty.
I need to get some sleep, yeah.
Did you watch the match yesterday?
No, soccer there in Ghana.
You don't like soccer at all?
No, NBA baseball. I like to be different.
Well, you are different. Yeah. But what? You didn't even hear anything? You don't have any comments?
Okay, I heard it was 3 p.m., but that's all I heard.
It was 4.
It was 4, okay.
Oh, but this is not nice at all. You don't have any interest in the Black Stars?
No, soccer in general.
Soccer in general.
Yeah,
okay, I can't fault you for that. Everybody has their choices.
I can do baseball, I can do basketball, but you should go. Because I can play, growing up I was a keeper, so I was never happy on the pitch. Until I said, I'm my own boy.
And they're so cheap. And then I saw you keep at the end, they're saying you're too late. You gotta bring back the love for football, man.
Yeah.
What say you?
Yeah, so think about it.
So watch the next Ghana match. That's on Friday.
Yeah, to support it, to get the youth
you
vibrant about it. I'll do that.
Because you have like a huge following. You're like a loud mouthpiece for lots of people. Okay, so who is Zodiac?
Zodiac is actually a pastor's son. Grew up in church, loved music so much. Was all into like creating music. He's an IT database administrator as well, and he loves music.
Basically that's it.
Love music. Like, I can do music from morning to evening, and he would have to remind me to eat before I eat.
Okay.
Yes.
Your pastor's son?
Yeah.
Okay, so does your dad have any qualms about what you do now?
My dad told me to play the piano. I remember one time I went to church and he was like, yo, I'm up on communion, so he actually got me into it. Like music, I think last 2 years he got me one expensive headphones from Shaw. Yes.
So he doesn't have a problem?
No, he's even wondering why I'm not releasing songs. So I had to release a song last year.
Okay, so kudos, Dad.
Yeah,
the pastor doesn't have issues at all. Kudos, Dad. We thank you for pushing us in the right direction. Yeah. Okay, I know that you work with like a number of artists.
Yeah.
But you work with recently in the past month and a half. You've worked with mostly lots of Nigerian artists.
Lots of, I should say, international art.
International artists.
I don't like to base it on boundaries and borders,
Yeah. So bringing me back to my next question, you have worked with all these artists, the national artists, as you call them. And in recent weeks, just the past couple of weeks, there's been this brouhaha on social media, fight between Nigerian artists, Ghanaian artists. We have some Ghanaian artists speaking up. We have Nigerian artists. The whole thing turned into a massive fray. What are your views?
Okay. I feel it was a little bit of tension, that, one person had to express his emotion to the whole public, and sometimes like we were having a conversation before I came here, in as much as
that's you on our screen with Chance.
This was when Rema came to Rema. Rema, Lord J, TZ,
Lodges,
Mona Lisa. He killed it. So it's like he had to voice, like I was saying, like in as much as we are artists, we are also human beings, We do have emotions, and sometimes we can express it, and the fans will take it in the wrong way. So that will also build up tension and change the news to the negative side. You know, every news got two sides. You know, I like to focus on the positive side more than the negative side, because all this is going on, like, it's also stirring good things up. You know, because
amazing conversations.
Amazing things up, because if you channel your mind to the negative stuff, you're gonna get the negative stuff. But if you channel your mind to the positive stuff, it will come to you. So all this rain that is going on, there's some sun also shining somewhere.
The sun, yeah, it has to shine. This 2023, it has to shine. But back on the topic, because I really want us to digest it. I think one state in Nigeria is probably bigger than the whole of Ghana.
So we shouldn't start an argument.
So we shouldn't even start an argument. So what are the guys?
Geographically, Mayan tribe.
Mayan to me, and they have lots more artists than Ameboa.
Numbers.
Okay, so why are guys like you, people like you who are on the forefront and like, you know, pushing stuff?
Pushing stuff, yeah.
Why are you not adding your voices to it, and let's settle this, whatever imaginary or illusion we have with the Nigerians, let's settle it once and for all. Say, there's no need for us to be. So why are you not adding your voice?
God has it's time for everything, you know. It's time for God's people, like I was telling you back in the office, you know. We are leaders, and in due time we're going to see the type of leaders we have. You know, we are going to lead some people to the right way. We are focused, that's what we are. We are thinking of how to change lives. Yeah, that is what we are thinking about, not who is the best. Have you heard 2 medical doctors saying some malaria chain way? No.
No.
You won't see the moment you bring competition, that means you don't, like, you see yourself failing. The competition should be with yourself.
You compete with your own self.
Yeah, how early you're going to wake up, how early you're going to get to the office, how early you're going to, how productive you're going to be in competition with yourself. Why are you watching somebody else?
Chalice 2022.
We'll be at the same hours.
Yeah.
So it's like President said, it's just an illusion. Like, it's a imaginary line to call somebody a Nigerian, somebody Ghanaian. We're all human beings, you know. We should just come together, love ourselves. And there's a greater thing. Imagine we all come together, how beautiful Africa is going to be. Look at how beautiful Ghana was this December. Imagine we're all one, you know, inside like one country, let's say South Africa, hosting a mega African show with everybody on stage. The world is going to be beautiful.
That's the future we're looking at.
Yeah, it's now. It's happening.
Yeah.
Already it's happening in the studio. So when the records comes out, you see the concept flowing.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're personal. You're quite personal with Mugis. You work with Mugis a lot.
Very.
How?
He's my big brother.
Okay. How's it like working with Mugis?
It's a beautiful artist. Like, not musically, but arts. He thinks art.
Like his brain is
art. Yeah. Even we were recording before I came here. Like, how I've recorded a lot of people during the week, but how he records is like, if he doesn't get that one person, who understands him, I'm not sure he's gonna make that record, because he does it like he's painting. Oh yeah, painting. Okay, when I was walking to the kitchen, I heard this. Let me fix it. So if you don't have the love, the passion, the time, you know,
it won't work. Before we talk about the guys you've worked with and what's like working with them, what's a typical day for you like? I mean, so do you have like a console? That's fine. Do you have like a console like we have in our control room? Like, run us through when you sit behind and you have the acts coming in, what, like, you know, you usually go
When I get to the studio, I drop my laptop, I say a short prayer, I get water, and I go over what I did previously. But in my mind, before I get home, I should make about 3 beats before I go home. You know, at least that's like my target goal for the day.
3 beats.
Yeah. So people tweeting, asking me, how come you've been working with all these artists, but the beats are not done? And I don't put artists on my beat alone. Like, I network producers, and I go like, okay, yo, do you have this Afrobeat type that sounds like this? Because it's of time that one person brings everybody together. What do you think? It's boring everybody trying to be a champion.
Yeah, and there's a lot of space for everyone to shine.
The sky's too big. Like,
okay, so what do you do? Do you like make the beats, or when the artists come in, they'll be like, oh, I want this beat, I want this particular...
I believe in preparation meets opportunity to create that success. Whilst you are in your room figuring out how to rhyme, I'm also in my room figuring out how to make dope beats. So when we meet, we don't have to check, Charlie, what's your name?
Just
okay,
work.
okay, listen to this. Boom, okay, I've got this idea. There we go. So in a day I can make like 10 records. Yes, because... Yeah.
Okay, 10 records in like a day. That's fine, like you're a genius. How many hit songs do you have?
I would say I have like 3 solid hit songs. Yeah, I could say God featuring Sarkodie was my very first hit song. I got nominated to VGMA.
Nice.
My second hit song was in Contempo. Fit by B for Bona.
Yes.
The boxing one, I think everybody loves that song till now. And my third hit song is Chihuahua from Moogies. Yeah, Chihuahua did good.
Amazing stuff. Now, what makes a hit song? Coming from a professional point of view, what makes a hit song? What are the components that make a hit song?
The component that makes a hit song, one, sweet melodies. When I say sweet melodies, something a baby can even do with his mouth, like, when a baby wants, like, something sweet. Second, like, relatable content.
Relatable content.
Don't be in your feelings too much. Put yourself in somebody's shoes, you know. Everybody knows Zuma Bebe catches what they are saying about.
So it has to be relatable.
Relatable, so, you know, and you have to connect with your culture as well. Because Ghanaians, we love good music, we love high life, we love to hear our guitars, our percussions, you know, and we love good sound. Lately, looking at how far music is going, you can produce any book apart. No, you have to take it to mixing and mastering engineers to make a world-class standard. So you can be called to Grammys or BT or anything. Yeah.
Righties. Also, just in the period before Christmas, when all events and festivities started, then came this conversation about why Ghanaian artists and musicians, DJs are switching from the normal Afrobeat, highlight beats to Amapiano, and that turned into a big thing as well. What are your views on that?
That is, we also trying to still bring about these borders and differences. Like, it's going on everywhere. It's not just about black or white. Like, we find this mentality affecting every areas of our lives. Like, this, I'm this, I'm this. Like, it's too much. We are Africans. When Azonto came, Nigerians jumped on Azonto. Nobody said anything. We were clapping that, oh, we are proud of ourselves. Now, South Africa is up. South Africa has been in the music industry for ages. They've been doing good music like diaspora. But it's time that they also have their own stand, their own genre in Africa so that they can be identified. I feel the SCMP. We should embrace it. It's African music. Like, we are one people. So why do you want to name it Amapiano?
So you are all for Ghana. I mean,
this is why I miss Appeal because you give your apple to and then Appeal started all those chanting on beats. You know, so let's be creative.
So you are all for embracing music genres from
all for the culture.
Everywhere. Once
the
it's
culture,
African.
yes. If we bring differences, we're losing the culture.
Do you know someone called Sibo?
Sibo, yeah.
Okay,
Sibo,
so he's saying hello to you. It's in my ear, so so he's saying hello. He's watching you and he's saying hello to you.
Yo, Daniel Sibo. Yeah.
So let's put Mugis and RTBs to the side because that's where your partiality lies. If you were to pick top 10 artists, top 10 now in Ghana, who would your top 10 be?
My top 10. Wow.
Should I bring it down to like 5? Or to cause problems for you? So 5 is fine.
5 is fine. Okay. Top 10. Okay. I think I'll do Black Sheriff. I think I'll do I'll do King Promise. I'll do you said R2Bs is not part.
No, R2Bs is your party, so no.
I do. Wow.
Okay, let me let you off the hook.
Yeah.
Let me let you off the hook. We know you're an amazing, beatmaker. So yeah, let me let you off the hook.
Yeah,
Now
Naya,
let's talk.
yeah, I have this artist Naya. She's great. She's from Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, she's doing marvelous. Like she moved to Ghana just to go through Afrobeat, and like in a week the numbers I saw, I was great. Like that was why I realized that you don't need too much, just sound good.
Okay, so we actually have people coming in to learn Afrobeats?
Yeah, people are moving in. I can mention, like, if you tell me to mention that, I can mention.
Yeah, please mention.
People are moving from Amate. Like, we have lots of artists who are in Ghana just to learn our sound.
So Ghanaian
and they
music,
don't make noise about it, no.
So
they're all like, they're working to bring something. You heard of Amare? Yeah.
I interviewed Amare, please.
Yo.
Like, I think I'm the only person in Ghana who did. Before she do,
like people, it's crazy. But people are moving to Ghana just for the sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do know that you're going to do amazing things with young people. No.
Free youth.
No. There's something that we call upcoming artists, rising artists. You're going to give a lot of rising artists opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Please, I'm sure they're watching us. Tell us the opportunities you're giving us.
It's a collective. We are a whole streetwear fashion brand collective in Ghana, Coffee the Youth, and we...
Pause on that. So guys, did you guys see Wizkid?
Yeah.
And what he was doing, that's free the youth. Okay, so now continue.
So it's a whole streetwear collective band called Free the Youth that, as part of our second pop-up, major pop-up, we would like to have a tape, put together a very solid mixtape for, I won't call them underground, I'll call them overlooked artists, because there are some artists that are good, but they've been overlooked. Recently we had a speech, we had a conference about the way forward for the arts industry and music industry in Ghana. And we spoke very nice. We had marvelous people come up at the... that's the shop, the Free the Youth shop.
That's the Free the Youth shop,
we just ended yesterday. Most of our clothes are sold out. Thanks to each and everyone who supported. Like, everything you purchase is going to go into donation. We've donated about 3,000 exercise books last December to the basic schools in Tama during the masquerade event. And we are also adding to our charity program to train creatives. We have people who do beats, who make beats. We have people who make jeans from Ghana. That's our Off-White and Free the Youth collaboration, RIP Virgil Abloh. He was supposed to come to Ghana to launch this on the 23rd before he passed away. So we have a museum in our shop where we dedicated to him.
Wow.
And it's been crazy. It's been crazy. That was about to take off, and he just passed out because God had, the perfect time
plans for him. But then he instilled those fashion traits into guys like you and other people. So guess what?
He
lives on. He lives on because fashion.
He built a skate park in Ghana. He did a collaboration with Din Paper and Surf Ghana. So thanks to Virgil, we have a skate park in Ghana now.
Yes,
so if you skate, just come through, let's skate.
Righties. Okay, because we don't have a lot of time, where do we find you on social media? Are there any upcoming projects you're working on?
Yeah, like I said, I'm currently working on the Free the Youth tape. So if you think you're an artist, you have what it takes.
Free the Youth tape.
Yeah, that is the tape, the name for now, just to tag it properly.
Okay.
So if you feel you're an overlooked artist, you've got what it takes. You've got the skills, the voice, you can make a beat. Just link me up on socials, on Twitter at Zodiac, the A is a V. You turn it up on Instagram at Zodiac Ponders. Just find me. Yeah.
Righty.
Let's work.
So for those of you who don't know, like Zodiac is Tema based, and like this is a Tema connection. Tema to the world. Tema to the world. So we've been spending time with Zodiac. Zodiac is an amazing talent. He works with he's a sound engineer, but he works with artists, sort of music director, fashion icon. He's into the youth fashion, street fashion movement. And so look out for Zodiac on all the social media handles. He's everywhere as Zodiac. But remember, the A is a V. It's turned.
Everything is art right now.
Yes, everything is art. So that's how we've been spending the last part of our breakfast table. We'll take a break. When we come back. So Sibu Natis, this is everybody here. Thank you for watching us. We love you. Thank you, Sibu. We are wishing you an amazing day. And from Zodiac, he says yes. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to be joined by my co-host T and Kaf. And then we'll see how we'll end the show. Probably give you something, a giveaway. So stick and stay. We'll be right back.
So fine. You are. So we are GBC, you say. Yeah, yeah, GBC, yeah, GBC, yeah, GBC, you say. Yeah, GBC, you say. Setters, you have blazed the trail. Aiko, GTV, Aiko, Pape, Aiko, GBC, Aiko, Aiko, GBC, Aiko. You have set the pace, you have blazed the trail. Aiko, GBC, Aiko, Vampire.
Welcome. And so yeah, we had to do a little something. You see, Dorothy Ajiman, it was your birthday on Saturday. Happy belated birthday. We love you. Please forgive us. We forgot, but it's still the birthday mood, and we love you.
Okay, I got some birthday shout outs.
Yes.
So there are plenty.
Here goes.
So 7th was Diana Nanama Ofreata. 8th was Joshua Johnson, who is in New York. 9th was Biswa Dona Hammond, my former co-host when I was at GBS. 10th yesterday was my cousin Doris Wunu. Happy birthday to you. And 11th today is Juliana Je. So it's a crazy month in January. It just goes like that. So all of you, happy birthday from all of us here to all of you. What else?
Also, a massive shout out to our international producer. International producer. It's just good vibes here. It's just good vibes here. And so we're wishing Dr. Shriba of the Cardiothoracic Center and everybody at the Cardiothoracic Center an amazing day. The guys at MEDA wish you an amazing day, especially Mr. William Amuna and family. We're wishing you all amazing. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. We are verified on all our handles, and so when you type hashtag GTV Breakfast on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, you can find us and you can find all the cuff. You can find us and you can find all the behind the scenes. Yes. And so guys, remember that we are still celebrating.
It's still Black Stars. It's still Black Stars. Birthday, Christabel Lord Akins. Happy birthday. January born to my family. If I don't mention them. Happy birthday.
Okay, so more shout outs coming in. Okay. This is yes, I'm telling you. Barbara Kote, the Kotes in Tema, Barbara, Abigail, Cynthia, Diana, and the whole Kote family. I mean, this is for you.
Hey, this is a family shout out.
You got me in the mix, but the indica with sativa, you're the best.